What's up, everybody? I'm Jason Dutch. Oh, and you got to echo there.
You got the Nigeria package.
Hi, I'm Jason Dutch, and this is Dig on America, the podcast, where me and two people who are way smarter and better looking than me come on this show and teach me a little something about America. We're echoing Dutch. I don't know where it's coming from, though.
Echo.
We're echoing.
Yeah. Oh, you mean it? Oh, you mean see? You hear it now?
A little bit. It's a little bit. I hear it a little bit. But you know what?
Turn the volume down.
The show must go on.
Must go on.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think it's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm Mikey Famine. That to my right is Mr. Jason Dutch. Dutch, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, except for Spectrum sucks balls.
Yeah.
What kind of balls, Dutch?
Oh, you don't want to know. It's a long, stupid story. But let's just say they fixed my internet and then they didn't.
That's the kind of thing that just tickles my balls. And then the man in the middle, everyone's favorite undersized power forward, Big Haas. What's up, baby?
AKA Draymond Green. No. What's going on?
The undersized power forward is like a legit position.
100%.
Because Rodman, Barkley, Draymond,
yeah,
they not 7 footers, but 7 footers have all kind of problems with them.
Because that's that leverage.
That leverage?
It's that leverage.
Lever 2000 edge.
Oh, I used to love that. I used to love that Lever 2000 on the low.
Is that a soap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know something about it though? It emulsifies way too quickly. So it gets real slimy.
You can't just be making up words, bro.
Now, Jesse, you know that's not a word.
The splendiferous nature.
What we want to do is we want to jogatize. Oh, shit.
All right.
Okay, host, let's take it away.
What's up?
Take it away.
You're not still getting any echo from me, are you? Are you?
I hear a little lingering echo way at the back. It's like
I hear an echo on myself, but it's because I'm hearing myself. So
you feeling yourself?
Oh, after 3 years, I thought we were done with audio issues.
But no, because you got that robust down upload speed or whatever that is.
Well,
they even put a you can probably see right there. It's called like a
an extender.
No, it's not an extender. It's a
booster.
It's not that either. It's called a web, I think. Probably the same idea.
It uses the wiring.
Yeah, and I actually can plug into it. So they had the Spectrum came here yesterday. They had everything fixed. I was getting 480 download. I was getting 26 something, 23 something upload.
Was everybody else there streaming as well when they came?
No one was there then. But I should be getting more than one. I'm getting literally one right now.
Somebody got all of them, and you getting it's rounding up the one. Someone's taking all of it right now.
I don't know. I went and unplugged the internet right before went on to try to steal it from them, and it didn't work.
Yeah. No, so. He's probably streaming Call of Duty Zombies right now. He's on
Apex. Like my daughter's on Apex right now.
Yeah, I'm going to keep checking it as we go on with the show, but and see if my computer comes back live. But
it's a lie.
No fucking promises. Yeah. So, Mikey, you're the host today. It'll be better that way anyway.
Probably.
Usually is.
Not probably.
Well, I mean, you had you sent me a smattering of topics, and I guess given from you changing the episode name, we're talking about colonization.
Yeah, we don't have to start. We don't have to start with that if we don't want to.
We could do some other stuff.
Yeah. Did you get that video I sent you about
Phyllis Wheatley?
Well, yeah, but that's for you at the end. Thanks for being late to the party. The one about the My Pillow guy. Did you see the My Pillow guy video?
I haven't watched anything.
I know that he got axed from Newsmax.
You have to pull up and watch that My Pillow video.
But
it's a really shitty video. but like the audio on it's not great, but it's just fantastic.
How about I drop the link to it and then people can go check it out, because I don't want our video to get taken down, because Newsmax will definitely come after us, especially if they look at the rest of the episode and we're making fun of them.
So let me ask you this. Why is Brian Tyler Cohen allowed to play the video?
Because he's Brian Tyler Cohen.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
It be that way sometimes, sir.
Welcome to being the little man on the totem pole.
But it's also, see, here's the question. It's also audio only. There's no video or anything in it.
I mean,
or music, I mean.
Okay.
So how do they distinguish a person's voice?
He's got his plaque. He's got his YouTube plaque. He's allowed to do a lot more things than us. And he might have licensing deals.
I don't like those rules. I say fight him.
All right. He wants.
It's in this case, look, it's so inaudible that I think we'll be okay. But the listeners, I think, will be interested in this crazy shit.
It's 3 minutes. Is there a certain spot I should start and stop?
No, just start it from the beginning. You'll get the idea after a minute and a half.
So I'm going to share screen for just a moment there, viewers. But that's only so I can bring it up and then put it back behind stage. There we go. All right. So let me take the link. I'm going to copy that. Boom. Go into the chat.
Take the link and copy that. So first of all, while he's doing that, listeners.
Mikey.
Yes,
what?
Your face is looking awfully dapper.
Really? Looking good, huh?
A little sharper, man. You out there looking like a young Mos Def.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Yo, let me tell you about today's mathematics.
Yeah.
Man,
Mathematics is a crazy song, by the way.
Yes. So I don't know if y'all knew this, but before all this like versus thing came up in hip hop, they was gonna have they was trying to get all the celebrities to battle each other, and Lupe and Mos Def were supposed to have one.
That would have been crazy.
I would have lost my mind.
Quiet as kept. This whole versus thing comes from in the urban community, motherfuckers making versus CDs anyway. Where we do, I did a 50 Cent versus Kanye West CD back. Remember when they had beef because they were dropping their album on the same day?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's disrespectful.
Didn't they bet?
They were
those two.
50 Cent was trying to get him to bet, and 50 Cent was like, "I hope he don't move the date."
But 50 Cent lost.
He probably did.
Yeah, but that don't stop him from betting.
That don't stop him from talking shit.
50 is the most pettiest individual in North America.
The 100% most pettiest shit I've ever heard. This motherfucker bought out the first 3 rows of a Ja Rule concert just so nobody would be in those fucking rows. That is Petty Pendergrass, Petty LaBelle. Man, oh man, that's
next level petty.
That's insane.
Little petty thing here. My man straight up had him performing to the empty first 3 rows. But I heard that was a rumor.
That's like taking all the caps off tubes of toothpaste when you break up with somebody. I'm taking all the left socks when I leave.
That's my favorite sock.
What do you, Stitch? Lilo and Stitch?
All right, here is that clip for all you fans at home.
Media, of course, continues. Twitter apparently now has permanently suspended the My Pillow company account, the company account, after its CEO, Mike Lindell, used the page, they say, to continue posting. This comes as Twitter permanently banned Lindell's personal account.
Can you put the video up?
Now to discuss is the founder and CEO of My Pillow and the author of the book, What Are the Odds? Mike Lindell. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome.
This is so great.
So what happened? What happened with your Twitter account and the company page?
Well, first mine was taken down because we have all the election fraud with these Dominion machines. We have 100% proof. And then when they took it down about 3 weeks ago, and then I'm moving it back up. My personal, it was
Mike. Thank you very much, Mike. You're talking about machines that Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those kinds of allegations. We just
look at him. He just keeps talking.
There's nothing substantive that we've seen. And let me read you something there. While there were some clear evidence of some cases of vote fraud and election irregularities, the election
still
results in every state were certified And Newsmax
Watch him, Big Hoss.
as legal and final. The courts have also supported that view. So we wanted to talk to you about canceling culture, if you will. We don't want to relook at the allegations that you're making, Mike, because you understand where you are. So let me ask you this. Do you think that this should be temporary? Because it appears to be permanent. Make an argument that it is temporary.
What?
He didn't even hear the question.
Could you make an argument that this could be a temporary?
In a second, watch. He's gonna. The host in the middle
Permanent, because you know what? They did this.
is gonna get up and get the fuck out of
They
there.
chipped us.
No, watch the host in the middle. Watch the host in the middle.
So I'm sorry if you.
Okay, Mike, can I ask our producers, can we
Get him the fuck out of here?
I don't want to have to keep going over this. We at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those allegations that you're.
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second.
He's like, fuck this.
About just what is happening.
All right, cut this fucker.
Oh my.
Bro.
This is why I don't be clicking on links that you sent me. It's always some bullshit. It's always, I don't want to listen to this asshole.
Do you understand how off the rails you have to be for Newsmax, an anchor from Newsmax, to be like, I'm out? Do you understand? Do you understand where Newsmax goes as far as the spectrum of media bias and how they report? They are super, super right wing. So you know how deep you have to be down the rabbit hole for them to be like, fuck it, I'm out.
Oh man.
You have to be Swamp Thing. Like that guy. Now, I will say this. I think part of it is because Newsmax is getting their asses sued.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so let's not pretend that they're being honest.
That's not journalism integrity.
Yeah, that's just trying to protect the brand, like Tom Brady. Oops.
So let's not pretend that was that a Tom Brady dig?
I got a whole theory on him.
You
But
digging
anyway,
on the
go ahead.
goat?
Oh, 100%.
Hey, let me ask you a quick question.
Anybody said nothing about Michael Vick? What you talking about?
Oh, very funny.
That's great.
So in the last 20 years,
yeah,
LeBron or Brady, who is higher up in their sport?
Brady.
Brown.
Brady.
I have to go with Brady too.
I gotta go with Brady.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I here's my thing with Tom Brady. On the field, specifically on the field, you can't hate on his game. Off the field, I feel like he puts on a face for the media. He puts on a face for his teammates, but he's a fucking asshole somewhere. Because if you played golf with Donald Trump and you consider Donald Trump a close friend of yours, you have seen behind the curtain. We only got the public bullshit of Donald Trump. You know it had to be worse behind the scenes, you know, especially from what people behind the scenes have already said. So for you to consider to openly say he's a good friend of mine, we play golf together and we do stuff together, you have to identify with some of his ideologies in order to maintain that type of closeness. And if you do that, I'm looking at you sideways, dude. And somewhere in his life, that dude's a fucking asshole to people.
Now let me make the case for Bron.
Okay.
The case for Bron is just this. LeBron's Laker team right now is broken. The shit ain't
because
fair.
AD is out.
No, not broken as in doesn't not functioning. Broken as in he's cheating. But he's gotten to the level of he gets the best whoever he can find everywhere at all times. Brady has started with that and has maintained that, and that is why he has so many rings.
The best what though? Wait a minute, hold on now.
Brady's always had he ain't never came up out of like LeBron in Cleveland. That was a nobody squad.
Okay,
I'm not
Name
sure I
me-
agree with that.
Name me besides Danny Amendola.
Don't
And
ask
the
me
other
football
dude-
trivia. I don't know.
Well, the 1 year, what was it, 07, when they went undefeated and then they lost the Super
They
Bowl?
had Moss.
They had Moss. They had Moss for a couple years.
Yeah,
But-
but name me the perennial Pro Bowler.
He had
That
he had a
as
couple
wide
of
receiver.
there was a couple perennial Pro Bowlers on the defense,
I'm talking
but-
about on offense.
but on offense, none.
Who was he throwing to?
He was
Who's he handing
he's
the ball
always
to?
thrown to middle of the road receivers.
Deion Branch.
Yeah,
These
these guys go sign elsewhere and they suck.
Danny Amendola.
Yep.
The other white dude, Wes Welker.
Welker was okay
Walker's
in
was
Miami
good.
and Denver. Yeah,
But is he going to the Hall of Fame?
no,
I don't
but
know.
he was a good player.
You
But
know,
this
what
time
did
is
he
the
do?
first.
What did he do after he left New England?
What here? Let me answer.
Welker,
let, me
he did very well in Denver.
let me answer your question with the
Did all
question.
right in Denver.
Is Tom Brady's squads Cleveland level squads?
Yeah, except for the defense.
The first time, no. The first time, LeBron did that by himself. You know, the Miami stuff, that was obvious.
He had,
you know, and the Laker this recent one, I give him a lot of credit for. You know,
yes, I did, Aunt Jer.
but as far as Brady, I mean, he went to a different team that was not really expected to be a contender, and they became a contender. So, you know, and they're in the Super Bowl. I have to give him credit for that. To me, this cements it.
I think that Tom Brady has worked with lesser talent overall.
I don't think so.
Than LeBron has.
Maybe the 07 team. Look at these receivers: Evans, Godwin.
I'm saying
AB.
in totality. I'm saying in totality. I'm not talking about this year in a vacuum. This year in a vacuum, he's got way more talent, and he still almost fucked it up.
This is the most talent he's had.
Yes, because in the NFC Championship game, if his defense doesn't stand up, they're not here. 3 second half turnovers, 3, and they only got 7 points out of that.
So, I mean, this is where it's kind of weird to compare basketball and football, because in basketball you got to play offense and defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess a better question would be, who carried more bums to get a ring?
But still, it's a whole lot of bums that Brady carried on the offense to get a ring, dude.
I think they're very close to each other. I don't think that like there's a wrong answer.
No, I don't think it's a big difference.
Yeah,
but I just think that
they're
Brady,
1 and 2. They're 1 and 2 in some
more
order.
like 1 and 1A to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to have a draft an athlete from year 2002 till now,
yeah,
that they're 1 and 2, and like if you have the top 2 picks, you're fucking happy.
Yeah,
you know, because you're in good shape. It's just I find it a curious discussion. So
I love LeBron James. He far exceeded any of my expectations as a player.
LeBron James.
LeBron Orenthal James.
LeBron James. I mean,
Orenthal. It sounds like a pest control company.
That's my OJ reference. That's my OJ reference for the podcast today.
Every show gets one.
Orenthal James Simpson.
Is that really his name?
We come.
That's
kill
his name. I will never forget it because I listened live to the fucking reading of the verdict.
I thought it was Otis.
Orenthal, because the foreman fucked up his name. She was like Orenthal James.
Orange Ball.
Oh, Orange. She called him Orange Jaw. She mixed up Orenthal and James together.
Orenthal. The Django Unchained.
And I was like this. I was like, when she did that, I was like, okay, he innocent. Because if she was going to say guilty, there's no way she's gonna fuck that up.
She didn't want to pull a Steve Harvey. I ain't forgot about you, Steve.
May I also say that Kenan Thompson's freaking Steve Harvey impersonations on Black Jeopardy are
Black Jeopardy.
Fucking Black Jeopardy.
Yo, his mustache.
His mustache, dude. Kenan Thompson is hands down one of the best SNL freaking cast members ever. He's the longest tenured, of course, but he's phenomenal. I love him and all his stuff.
I have a special spot.
Though I did watch Good Burger the other day.
Oh, I can't watch it. I can't watch
it. It's great.
I can't watch
it. When it came out on VHS, it was an orange VHS. The cassette was orange.
I cannot watch it.
Y'all too old to understand how great it really is. Too bad about Kel.
Well, thank God for that.
What happened to Kel?
What happened to Kel?
Kel just can't get no work. He always wilding out. People don't really want him. On Snick. That's when all that was on the thing. So we got some listener communication.
Yeah,
lots. 2 shots later at American Girl 252 says, what voice? American Girl. What kind? Valley Girl? Valley Girl voice? What kind of voice? What kind of voice do you think she have?
American Girl is like a Midwestern.
I just want to tell you guys how wonderful you all
is. That's a Midwestern voice. That's an Illinois verse. That's like a
Joliet voice.
That's a take a key. That's a take a key. That's a Watsika.
Oh, do not! You're not about to get me triggered right now. Stop it! Do not ever say that name again. I never want to be anywhere near that place ever again.
I stopped there for gas once.
I've never been more terrified in my life.
Shut the whole damn station down rather than fucking serve me some gas.
I have never been more terrified in my life than Watseka and Milford.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was like the Cars town. They only had one stoplight.
Yeah,
it was
Watseka is back in the day when
I think it's a Walmart.
Yeah, Tuscola was okay. I used to stop through. That's what I first really got introduced to the outlet mall. Was Tuscola had an outlet mall, and I would go up there and get stuff on.
Here's American Girl. Gave a listen and subscribed. You make some good points and differentiations on the meaning of pride and skin color. Are you a Cubs fan? I wouldn't hold it against you.
Now she just unsubscribed. She just fucking unsubscribed. It's like, that's not my fucking voice.
Yeah, half of our subscribers just left.
Right. We love you, American Girl. Thank you so much for your correspondence.
American Girl.
And then there's this weird dude says, yes, I'm a Cubs dog.
Wait a minute, is that his name? Weird dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Dutch.
Okay, I was great. Or Dutch.
Yeah. Yes, I'm a Cubs diehard, but thank you for subbing. You get a shout out. All right,
enough hate.
Cubs.
Haas is a Sox fan, and I am from St. Louis, so I am a Cardinals fan. So you Cubbies can
yeah, when you grow up a half a mile from the stadium, you kind of got to be a Sox fan.
Same.
You got all those free fireworks shows because I grew up in the Chicago Hitman.
Yeah, that was my favorite part about going to Comiskey was the fireworks.
Oh man! I still call it Comiskey.
I'm not a Sox fan. I don't like anything about the White Sox. However, I have a massive amount of love for Harold Baines.
I got a Harold Baines autographed White Sox hat upstairs right now.
Yeah, I love Harold Baines, and I've grown to respect Frank Thomas.
Big Hurt.
Frank was so consistent,
until the Neutrogena the
Nugenics commercials.
Yeah, Nugenics. Yeah, with him in the skin flute, Doug Flutie.
Hey, she'll like it too.
Yeah, she'll.
Yo, y'all go leave.
The girl every time, all the time. Every time the girl goes,
I like it better if it was you, Frank. That's what she's saying.
Y'all hating. That's what this is.
So
y'all hating.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying it's funny the way he does that.
Yes, you are. Don't say you're not.
Overacting. It's overacting. That's what makes it funny.
Hey, that's his craft.
Carry on.
That's his craft. Okay, that is his art. How dare you? How dare you? Keep up the great work, Big Hurt. I appreciate you.
I see him at Lifetime all the time.
Just
him and Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson. What a monster of a man.
I sold
a ridiculous athlete ever.
I sold Bo Jackson a viper.
Still freaking. You sold him a viper?
Yeah.
Really? A snake?
at Dodge City of Countryside in 2001.
Fun fact: I bought my my third favorite car from Dan Wolf Pontiac in Countryside.
Yeah, Dan Wolf Pontiac was across the street. I also sold Bo Jackson a car. I sold Mark Burley a BMW.
Wow.
And I sold Kyle Farnsworth a Chevy Tahoe. He had bad credit. You remember Kyle?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
He got
privileged
financed at like
information.
22%.
Damn!
That's privileged information. Leave that man credit score
Damn.
alone.
Fuck that.
Sometimes
Fuck
you gotta-
Farnsworth. He's a huge Trump.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
He's a huge Trump fan. Fuck him.
But
You gotta
even
say
still,
allegedly so you don't get sued for defamation.
Yeah, allegedly. You're
Yeah,
right.
for real.
Allegedly, it was 22%.
we have more.
Allegedly, he had bad credit.
We have
It could
more.
have been. It could have been that the salesman fudged the numbers or something and lied to me. It's possible.
No,
You were the finance manager?
I was assistant finance manager
Oh,
at that dealership. Yeah.
Nope, not gonna do that. Not on
He was the
that.
assistant. Fuck you in the ass, dude.
Well,
We have more. We have more.
Okay. Let it go.
Marianne Garcia at Marianne Garcia NM. Ooh. What kind of voice Marianne Garcia got?
Don't do it.
Nah, I'm not doing that one.
Okay.
Not doing that today.
She's a businesswoman. At NM, that's probably her business.
Okay.
So let's go business. Let's go professional.
Totally not New Mexico. You're right. Listen to the podcast. Very interesting. I thought it was thought-provoking. And that's from Miss Garcia.
your voices are leaving a lot to be desired.
You got a lot of nerve to talk.
What do you desire, Dutch? Well, Dutch was a 976 operator back in the day. So
Right. Thank you.
he was a
girl
consultant.
64.
He was a consultant on Girl 6.
Yeah. I was girl 6.
Oh.
You thought girl 6 was a girl?
He was a country. That's just how good my work was.
Yeah.
My name
I was a
Candy with an
wordsmith.
I. My name's Candy with a K and an I.
I was a regular wordsmith.
You were something.
No,
We got
remains true.
a bunch of randos here because you didn't really send them in any kind of particular order.
Well, just give us one.
All right. Eric had some correspondence with your last video, Dutch.
Good.
Eric wants
Wait. We got to give context on Dutch's last video for anybody who didn't watch.
Give him the context, Dutchy.
I did a video on white pride.
Okay, there you go. That's enough. That says it all right there. Go ahead.
So yeah, if you're just listening to the audio version, please hit up our YouTube channel and go check out that video.
Yeah.
Eric's comment is, why would you be proud of your skin tone? Why not be proud of raising fine children or doing good work in the world? You forgot the question mark. People must be either very bored to even put the thought into the world.
No, that's about money, baby. That's put out there for money. You know what I mean? You got to go back and look up the origin of the term white and when it was instituted and why.
He clarified his comment too. I think because I asked him specifically if he was. I'm like, are you against or for what I said? And he came out and clarified and said he was for it. So I just think that he was probably a little bit unclear on what he said.
I think he's just saying, why all this emphasis on skin color?
I'll say what he was saying. I got to hear. I agree with your sentiment that there is nothing to be proud of being born white. People waste a lot of time on things of chance and no consequence. Race and pride are non-starters for me. You can be proud of things you've done, but how can you be proud of your skin tone?
That's a good. Oh yeah, I did say I was going to ask a question about that. So go ahead and respond to that. See.
I was just going to say that's very nuanced, well, lacking in nuance. I mean, you have to factor in the fact of what a person's skin color, especially in this color and around the world, in this country and around the world, the kind of life experience you have based upon it. And also, when you have been denigrated, marginalized, and oppressed based on your skin color, then there's a sentiment of I have to take pride in it, because if it's become a part of who we are. You know what I mean? They have to take pride in my skin color because everybody else uses it as a source of reasons to downgrade or rationalize the brutalization of a person based on their skin color. So you have to say, you know what? Despite all of what's going on because of this skin color, and I used to sit back in my younger preteen years and cry because of some of the things I went through based on this, and I was crying, being like, "How can someone hate me based on not the ash, but this?"
You need lotion.
So, in order to,
You do need a little lotion.
I do. I need a lot of lotion. Look at that. But that's the sign of a hardworking man out there. But anyway,
A hardworking man with no lotion.
With no lotion down here. If I had some lotion down here, I'm about to put some candle wax on. But you have to double down on your pride in order to fight off the negative things that happen due to it. You know what I mean? I've been called black, crunchy black, chocolate black, charcoal black, and I wasn't even the darkest person, but I'm just saying. So I would probably assume that Eric is not black. So his skin color has never been a source of that type, so you don't consider it. But we must consider it. When police statistics show that the darker you are, the more likely you are to experience disrespect, brutality, or violence from police. It has to, you have to be like, in order to not hate yourself, you have to double down on the love for yourself in all aspects, including skin color. So, but the whole, you were probably talking about it from the white pride aspect. I'm coming from the other side of it, where he's like, race and color, skin color are non-starters for me.
Right.
So I have something slightly different. And I kind of bristle when people say things like this because they're kind of being underhanded, and it's kind of like
I don't see color.
Yeah, it's kind of a backhanded compliment. Like I appreciate the sentiment that you don't see a difference. You don't see a difference between us, but that's stupid. There are obvious differences enough in our heritage and our culture and our genetic makeup. Like, we're different, and that's fine.
Right.
Everyone should be different, but everyone should be treated the same.
Right.
So the problem is the treatment, not the fact that we are different pigments and races and nationality. So stop maybe telling people to not worry about color. Fix what you can fix. Mm-hmm. Fix that crazy uncle. Fix that racist grandpa. Fix whoever that coworker who always on some sneak shit. Fix them. We'll worry about us. You fix them. You have to do your due diligence on your side of the equation if you don't want to hear about it no more. Because for none of us, if everyone was treated exactly the same, color wouldn't be an issue. But people are not. So let's work on the equality part, and then you can tell me that my ethnicity means nothing.
You know what? I think it would mean more to me if, instead of people saying I don't see color, if people said I don't treat people differently because of color.
Exactly. So I
get
a
more salient statement to me than I don't see color.
Right. And I think that's what they mean, but that's not what they're saying.
Right. And I think that sometimes I don't see color is an erasure tactic. You're erasing the experience of other people, based on that, because you have to consider that when you're considering a person.
First of all, I'm calling bullshit.
On what?
Anybody who says I don't see color sees it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Now, does that mean, again, I've said this 100 times. Does that mean you hate people of a different skin color? No.
But you always see it. It's subconscious.
But you hold an assumption And then because all of those statements are always, anyone who ever says that is, if they follow it up, if you dig into the conversation enough with them, they'll follow it up with something, either denying something that I talked about in the video, denying some things we'll talk about in the history lesson we're about to have, or saying, you know, yeah, but what about the fatherless rate?
Yeah, or what about black on black crime?
Right.
Or what about what's going on in Chicago?
It comes into the conversation 98.5% of the time.
I agree.
So, you know, I've never heard someone say, I don't see color, who
not bring it up,
who won't bring up the ancillary, you know, conversation tactics that I've heard a million times.
But I have tons of friends who say that, and granted, some of them are not American, so they have like a totally different experience.
Yeah, I don't think that counts.
But even with them, I tell them like, yeah, saying you don't see color is very dismissive. You're all lives mattering me.
Yeah.
And then if they want to have the fight about why that's not the same thing, we can have that conversation. But
I see color right now. Black, white. Should it matter?
Excuse me, milk chocolate brown.
Right. So,
okay.
but I will say that when people say, are you proud of your skin color? Like, I can understand kind of like,
that's semantics.
Maybe you're not proud of your skin color, like, because you haven't overcome anything to have your skin color. But because of your skin color, you've had to overcome things.
Yes, I'm proud of being the positive, ambitious person that I am, despite the unnecessary obstacles thrown in my way because of my skin color.
Right. And even if you personally, like Lil Wayne, say they never had to come over or anything, you can still respect the fact that
bullshit
that others have.
Right? That's
right?
the most bullshit. That's the most I'm rich and I forgot where I came from.
It got him a pardon.
Of course it did. Of course.
You shuck and jive for the man.
Yeah, man. Let me just give you.
I like chicken
and watermelon.
This so is good watermelon, Master Trump. Fuck out of here.
Yo, I heard this on the internet. I don't know who posted it, but Lil Wayne looks like a gremlin that you pour Mountain Dew on instead of water.
He's the poster child for what fast living does to you.
He look about 737 years old.
He does. He's Methuselah.
He looks like a goddamn crypt keeper.
Little Methuselah.
He's 6 years older than me.
Well, his dad wasn't exactly handsome either.
You talking Manny Fresh?
Birdman?
Oh, no, Birdman.
Yeah.
Birdman's not his biological dad either. But
oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
They wouldn't be kissing on the mouth. They wouldn't be kissing on the mouth as much as they do.
Oh, I didn't even know that either.
My son on the mouth now. Hold on. Now my 13-year-old, he don't want me kissing him on the mouth no more, which is cool. So, but my rock, I kiss my boys. I love all my kids though.
Your kid's not 30.
This is true. I ain't kissing my 30-year-old son on the mouth.
Well, Trump kisses. Come on, Trump kisses Ivanka on the mouth
with tongue.
Stop it, y'all.
Allegedly,
y'all are out of line. Out of line.
No, the man said if she wasn't my daughter, I would perhaps I'd be dating her.
It's just nasty.
That is the most out of line statement
that's
to say about your woman.
That's not the worst one. They were asked what they had in common.
Oh, he said sex.
Yeah. Who says that?
Right. Like to this day, I refuse to believe my 21-year-old daughter has sex.
Precisely. My daughter's almost 20. If you ask me, what do you and your daughter have the most in common?
Yeah.
We like Spider-Man.
Yeah, we like movies. Yeah,
sex is not even on the list. In fact, it's on the no talk list.
Hey, guess what? Because if that question was asked of Barack Obama and his oldest daughter, and he said sex,
they'd call him a pedophile.
How fast do you think he would have been off the ticket?
Off the ticket? They would have locked him up.
Yeah.
They would have found some text message or something like, aha, you sexual predator.
See,
or Biden, for that matter.
And this is what we're talking about when we're talking about white privilege.
But I think it's true of Biden, for that matter, too, because they've already got the narrative that he likes to bang kids because his grandpa-y.
He's old school creepy grandpa. I mean,
What happened to all that, by the way? I thought that I could have swore.
we had all that evidence. Remember?
I could have swore.
Yeah.
More.
What happened?
More listener correspondence.
We got more.
Outside job at wash once a week. You're gonna have to wash it more than once a week. I don't care what it is, but you need to wash it more than once a week.
Agreed. It was a funky tweet.
Yeah, my phone is. I'm hit it with the Febreze after this. Will you let me on the podcast? And then he's got the champagne bottles pouring. Yo, if you
only if you fucking wash it.
Well, he sent a different text saying listening from Ireland.
Yeah, I was getting to that one.
Okay.
You sent them in crazy order, so I'm just reading them how I got them.
No. AT&T did that.
Okay, AT&T did that.
Blame the man.
Okay, well, sure. Yo, listening in from. Oh, I have to do it in an Irish accent. My bro is not as good as it used to be. But can he get a whoop whoop? Can he get a whoop whoop, Big House? He's looking for a whoop whoop.
Give him a whoop whoop.
I don't whoop whoop.
Whoop, there it is.
Yo, them motherfuckers.
That's exactly why I don't whoop whoop.
Then give him what you give him.
Hey, but you know something? Quick tangent.
Yeah.
I was training clients today, and of course I had music on random, and Tootsie Roll came on. And I was instantly transported back to Eastern Illinois University, and I was giving that Tootsie Roll to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right. Dude, that's the shit. It was so much fucking fun.
Now dip.
Oh my god.
Now dip.
That is
we had a whole routine. Man, we used to have to tear it down up at Eastern.
Utah just unsubbed. You didn't like your dance.
What up, X? Big homie. But yeah, so thank you from Ireland. And what else we got here? K at sure. I don't know how to pronounce that.
What's spell it?
TSUCHUR.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, go.
Oh, is it sucker?
THUC.
No, TSUCHUR.
TSUC.
Is it T sucker? Is it T sucker?
T sucker.
Tsuka.
Probably your last name.
Well, we've been making jokes about it.
Okay, sorry.
And in response to our Death of QAnon video, they said heady material, cued tears drinks. Okay.
She's drinking QAnon tears. Okay, I got it.
I like that.
An excellent partnership on the podcast.
Lie.
Mm-hmm.
Oz had a comment too, didn't he? Didn't you send one?
Who?
You sent a comment to the text, didn't you, Big House?
Yes. Did you send it?
Why don't you go ahead and read that? Make
I'll
yourself
read it.
useful.
Let me look it up.
I got.
Nathan you read that one. I'll look up this one.
Oh, Nathan's is great. Yeah.
Nathan Wilcox. This is from YouTube. What up, YouTube? The closest thing to a recent white pride or white identity upload is this guy. You know, there are other voices. White identity is being censored. Black identity is being bolstered.
Wow.
And it should be noted that when he said this guy, he was going like this. He wasn't talking about this.
Oh, you're talking about him?
Yeah, he was talking about himself. He was saying the biggest whatever is this guy. He was talking about himself, not me. At first, I thought he was talking about me. And then I was confused. And I was like, oh, no, he's talking about himself.
So he's going to he's saying he's going with the veiled reverse racism.
Right. The white identity.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you watch my video, you would know what I said about that precise thing.
Understand.
Do you want me to read yours or no?
I'm going to read mine. I'm going to read mine.
Hold on. He's got a couple more here. Dig on America. Innovation, ability, drive, a future for offspring. Why does any people do anything? No question mark. You don't think Africans or Asians do the same thing? America was not built, and then it says read more. And then his last one is privilege is earned. Our great modern society was built by European males. Earned we have privilege. Wow. Who would have thought?
And he also said, name me one woman or black person who was one of the framers of the Constitution?
His mama.
I said, wait a minute, that's your comeback? Of course there wasn't. Of course.
Idjit. IJIT. Idjit.
Okay.
All right. So my boy BT Norman, I've known him forever. We actually met at church. BT Norman. Okay. Back when I used to go to church. He said of our last episode, probably one of the best open discussions on the issues I've heard. Love the vibe you guys have going. And about halfway in, you somehow became the old guy. 3 laughing faces. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm that dude.
Clearly,
pretty soon,
a lot of conversations.
Pretty soon, music will be too loud for me and stuff like that. But
don't you worry about that, big dog. I got you hooked up, man. I'm about to put subs in his car. Whenever he decides
that way all the time.
I need that.
I'm gonna get high some subs, and then the neighborhood kids can play their music as loud as once, and then he'll just be like, "You probably got 112 in there."
I feel the same way all the time when I'm driving around and my 15-year-old wants to play music really loud while she's shitting shotgun. I'm like, I don't want to bump your music. Your music blows ass.
Yeah, I was trying to. I had some young clients in this morning.
Frank Ocean.
I was trying to listen to. I was trying to listen to Pop Smoke.
I knew you liked Frank Ocean. I knew it.
Frank Ocean's not. He's not bad.
He's legit. Like he's really good. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Not like that. Not that fucking Jason Derulo guy.
Hey,
I'm just playing. He's all right too. I'm just playing.
Tayo Cruz.
But I was trying to listen to Pop Smoke, and
every
song sounded the same to me. And I was like, how does every song sound the same? Busta Rhymes' new album just came out a couple months ago.
Bad example.
Why?
Because that's literally the same song for like 80% of them.
Who, Busta Rhymes?
Yeah, most of those songs are songs he already did. He just put another verse on them.
No, you gotta listen to that.
I found you in the back.
No, you gotta listen. You gotta listen to ELE too, man.
Poo, I'm gonna get you.
I'm the one that shared it to you. I put you on game,
dude. That CD, that album was cold.
I didn't put you on game.
A lot of people put me on game on that.
Oh, okay. See, and now the black people have finally been fractured, and Dutch's plan has finally come to fruition. He can colonize the rest of the podcast. He done tried to separate me and Big House.
Separate as in divide. You said separate as in divide.
See how he do this? It's Dutch.
Hey, just saying, man.
You can say I put you on game, and I'm younger than you. It's cool. I
did not know the album was coming out.
Thank you. And I said, and I'm the one that told you, right? I'm the one that told you.
You told me that was coming out.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. Just a little credit,
You guys ready to get to the history lesson or no? You want to do that now?
Sure.
Mikey, since you have a good mic, why don't you introduce what we're gonna do?
Mikey, I'm digging your shirt too. What's on there?
Oh, you're liking this, huh?
Is that South America?
How do I get him off of this damn screen? Which button do I click? This is from my good brother Noland, who has a Christian podcast. Dutch, I'll send you the links. Now, maybe I'll put it in the description. But he went on a couple of years visit over to Africa and took all kinds of pictures. So it's very, very small, but each one is a different photo. And on his website, he has them all like in a slideshow. So all those pictures are carved into the shape of the motherland.
I think Wayne's asking.
Is that places he's been?
Yeah.
I think Wayne's asking where Wakanda is on there.
Ain't nobody telling you, Wayne.
Right. That's a secret, man. I'm telling you that. Show me the inside of your bottom lip. Then maybe I'll tell you where Wakanda is.
I almost got that tattoo walking out of the theater. I was like, I could totally go get a lip tattoo like right now.
Right now.
I could totally Google what it's supposed to look like and just get that. So,
yep. You can't get the coordinates to Wakanda if you don't have the tattoo, dude.
No, man. And it's got to glow in the dark. You got to be able to shine the light on it, and then it shows up. Yeah.
right?
That's my shit.
Well,
Shout
they
out to-
say, could be bodily fluids and blacklight.
No, there's ink, nasty man. How would you get a tattoo out of that? You nasty.
That's the whole narrative.
Hey, it
that
all
Africans
depends what
have-
they use in the ink.
Dan using that. Do you think it's black like ink? Is that what you think of us? Is that what you think ours looks like? Huh? You nasty. What am I reading, by the way?
No, I said, do you want to introduce the history topic since you have a real microphone, or do you want me to do it?
Go ahead, you shall.
Okay, so here's what we're going to start doing. And I apologize if I have a little echo, but I'll work on it. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start running into a little bit of history on this show. We're going to cover some political topics. We're going to topic some historical topics, and we're going to topic some socio-political topics as well, and kind of go over what those topics are. And then the guys will stop me at any point in time during this and kind of give me any context that they want to give on it by just saying Haz's favorite word, pause.
We haven't said that yet. We've been on 52 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't been on 52 minutes. We've been in the stream 52 minutes. Podcast only on about, I don't know, 30. But
Okay.
So if you want to jump in, raise up your hand, because I'm going to pull my headphone out so that I don't hear my own echo. And we'll go from here. So, okay, boys and girls, today on DOA, we kick off the first official scripted non-election reactionary episode of the podcast. Every week, we will give you the dig on a new topic in U.S. history, government, policy, or current events. As I read this little lesson, which, by the way, I read to myself yesterday, and it's about 8 minutes long, okay? So we can stop this, as I said, as we go through. My co-host will tell me to pause. I'll give commentary on how this affects us today. And what we'll do is we'll separate the actual history of this nation from the fuzzy mythology we learned in junior high social studies class. It's important to note that I do have sources for this information. I'll list them in the show notes later, but some of them are Crash Course, History Channel, as well as Wikipedia. So most Americans over age 30 grew up learning the United States was first settled by English pilgrims who came here simply to escape religious persecution. This continued. Oh yeah, you were putting parentheses on. I'm sorry about that. This continued, of course, until those crafty leftist teachers decided to do something really, really satanic and evil. They started mostly telling the truth. Now, today, we're going to start like Vizzini told Inigo Montoya, go back to the beginning. So we follow Vizzini's command, as every smart man should. Colonization. This was going to be colonization and colonialism, but it got too long, so I cut it to just colonization. Now, colonization is defined by Webster's. Actually, I misspoke there. It's by Wikipedia as large-scale population movements where the migrants maintain strong links with their former country. They use these bonds to gain significant privileges over native inhabitants of the territory. Yes.
Are you about to just read for half an hour? I'm confused about the format. What is happening?
You shouldn't be asking these questions now. Okay. So yes, let me explain to you guys who didn't.
You said mute your mic. Okay.
No.
What is happening right now? Like when do we break in? Like the format has
at any time you want.
On a question or
okay. So here's how things are going to go.
Say it again.
I thought I explained this. I'm going to read about a historical topic. This paper that I wrote is going to take me about 7 minutes, 8 minutes to read.
Hell no.
Now, during this time, you can stop me, and then what we can do is we can discuss the most recent concept. This is important to educate people on what actual history is, and I think it'll be very interesting. So bear with me. Pay attention, and you just might learn something
from you.
Yes,
about history.
You gotta leave that door open. We might learn something from Dutch.
I didn't make the history. I'm just reading it to you. So now, as I said, the definition from Wikipedia, again, large-scale population movements where migrants maintain links with their former country, using them to gain privilege over native inhabitants. When this takes place under the protection of colonial structures, it's called settler colonialism. This often involves settlers dispossessing earlier inhabitants or instituting systems that disadvantage them. Yes.
Isn't that such a churched up term for stealing their fucking land?
Oh, dispossessing?
Yes, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
No, well,
It
we're not
is.
stealing your land. We just dispossessing it, baby. Now get out there and get me my money.
Yes, I did use Wikipedia. I had to get the definition from somewhere, and I chose Wikipedia to get the definition. So thank you, Constance.
Somebody
You know
dispossessed.
as you can
something?
imagine, this sounded like a
Wikipedia has
great-
cleaned up they've cleaned up their stuff a little bit.
Who, Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Anybody who says Wikipedia is bullshit, I was an administrator on Wikipedia for about 6 years.
Oh, that doesn't help.
You can't post anything on there without 30 people coming up behind you and double checking what you did.
Bam.
So, I am a big advocate. Now, it's not to say that there's not pages that go neglected and things are not disputed, but
Right.
by and large, I am a big advocate for Wikipedia because I wrote stuff that I knew was true and people still said, well, you don't have the right source. So anyway, now, as you probably could imagine, white ancestors of mine found like this was a great idea to dispossess people and disadvantage them. So it's nice to know that the founders of the country, that their great grandpas had a proven roadmap of successful theft to follow. Now, it should be noted that first that the Native Americans who were living in the eastern half of North America had no infrastructure or written language of note. They didn't have metals or domesticated animals. What they did have was political structure and trade networks. They were largely transient, viewing the land as common to everyone, and early explorers documented them as being primitive, heathen, less evolved, in a very Eurocentric way. Because they were not Christian, Europeans also viewed them as too loose with their sexuality. Since you can't really be married, of course, unless a Christian pastor married you. And of course, as brutal savages. So they noted an interesting belief among many tribes that as long as a person cultivates the land, that person has a right to it. The exploitation of loopholes. Now, some of the earliest explorers did come here as missionaries, but most were looking for gold. Right. And those that did come as missionaries, mostly the Spanish, were fond of burning native slaves alive or enslaving them if they refused to convert, or Native Americans alive, I should say. While the rest were wiped out by Spanish diseases. Up to 70% of some of the native populations were wiped out in the 1500s. But the Spaniards' unusual cruelty led to two things. One, the British realized this land was easy to take. And number two, they could justify this by not only converting these sex-loving heathens, but also to save them from the nasty Spaniards. So we'll talk more about Native Americans on our show because it only gets worse. Anybody want to, any comments on this so far?
It's just so funny to me how
Mikey doesn't like this segment.
No,
I think
this
no.
is weird. I don't get this.
It's interesting to me.
Let's see how the listeners like it.
It's interesting to me that the same playbook has been used from the 1500s and before on any group of people that Europeans seek to dominate. You know, it's the whole they're savages, they're this, they're that, because they don't do what we do, so they're savages. You know, they have a different set of sexual ethics than we do, or whatever. So they are immoral. But that's all based on your belief system, which you are now trying to force upon them as a means of subjugating them. You know, it's a means of subjugation. It's not a means of, it's not really for goodwill. It's not, oh, we're trying to save their souls. No, you want to have them convert so that you can subjugate them and proceed to take their land, rape their country for its minerals, etc., for its wealth. You know, and
Exactly.
the whole thing is nefarious from the word go. We have to totally deconstruct them and degrade them so that those who might step up and say this is wrong are like, well, they are like this, so because you've been told that they're like that.
Well, from the word go, they didn't leave Britain because they wanted religious freedom. It's because they were fucking crazy. Like,
preach on it.
Like they were more extreme than the Anglican Church. They didn't think Britain was extreme enough. They didn't take their belief. Yeah. That's why they got on them boats and went to the. So they didn't even get normal as Christians coming over in boats. They got the cray-crays. They got the NFIB bastards. They got the
coaches. They got the Church of God in Christ.
They got the cray-crays coming over.
Allegedly, I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect anybody who might be.
No, there's no alleged, and we'll get to that in a second. So,
fuck you, Wayne.
Jamestown, the colony, was founded in 1607 by Virginia Company. Keyword company. Which was a corporation named for Queen Elizabeth's apparent perpetual chastity. And of course, they wanted to make money. They thought that land full of free gold was a good way to make a quick shilling. Now, gold had been found by earlier Spanish settlers in South America. So Virginia Company and their crack team of non-geologist experts made the amazing assumption that there must have been tons of gold in the Northeast as well.
Of course.
Well, again, they were wrong. So this is something. Yes.
Hold on. Of course they said there was gold, man. They weren't trying to get sent back. Because they'll send you back if you go out there and you just say, yo, it's a bunch of trees and rocks and shit. Right. Bro, it's gold everywhere, man. I just my knee is badly scraped because I fell over one gold mound into another one. Like, just like the Victorian explorers. Sorry, Wayne. Would just be lying their asses up on some, yes, I've been in Africa for 14 weeks. It has been most terrible. And they're just chilling by a river.
Right.
Beautiful women everywhere. There's food growing off of every tree that they can find. Animals, not really, but a couple of mosquitoes, but nothing too crazy. But they would write back like it was the worst thing ever.
Nothing too cray-cray.
But of course they wrote back and said, oh, there was a Komodo dragon that came. They would just make some shit up when they was writing that shit back because they was trying to get some more money and they was trying to stay.
Well, that's exactly right. So the funny thing about this assumption of gold meant that most of the first settlers were, guess what? Goldsmiths.
Made out of silver. Damn it.
No, they were goldsmiths, and they knew nothing about farming or even digging for gold.
Nope.
This genius led to John Smith of Pocahontas fame taking over after half of these settlers died. But nonetheless, Europeans kept on coming. In 1611, there was about a 1/4 survival rate in Northern Virginia. Not good for the Virginia Company shareholders. So, of course, in order to lure more unsuspecting folk to venture to the New World, they largely hid this fact and came up with another great idea: to give away land that didn't belong to them.
Bam.
Sidebar, by the way, despite what Mickey Mouse says, Pocahontas did not marry John Smith and her hair did not blow in the wind. She did save John Smith, and as a reward, was kidnapped and held for ransom. Now, back to the lesson. In 1618, the Virginia Company launched their new marketing strategy. Haas loves this one. It was the first of many American headright systems, which I'm sure had a catchy theme song. In fact, I think it was, "You want to get head right? Come down to the New World, because we'll give you head right." You like that? No good? Okay. I'll give up my job of writing jingles.
No, it won't.
Headright offered 50 acres of land for each person that a settler paid to bring over, leading to large estates that mostly populated by indentured servants. and growing this crazy new cash crop they found called tobacco. It's worth noting that 75% of inhabitants of the New World were servants, and 25% were white males who got really fucking rich. Now, indentured servants came voluntarily or because they owed a debt, but they could be bought and sold. However, if they were lucky enough to still be alive after 7 to 10 years, not easy given the survival rate, they were paid their freedom dues. Here's a fun part. But of course, what kind of sucker wants to pay freedom dues when you can just get kidnapped labor to come work your stolen land? So in 1619, the first ship of African slaves arrived in Virginia. This free land, free labor strategy, coupled with the craze for lung cancer causing tobacco in Europe, was so profitable that colonists created huge plantations, but failed to think of investing in the common infrastructure necessary to hold the social order together. Real man of genius. So the monarchy, of course, loved tax money, and they kept it going. By 1632. The Maryland colony was formed, noted as a rare safe haven for Catholics, although its leader, of course, was corrupt and hated the idea of democracy. So enter Massachusetts Bay and the famous Pilgrims that Mikey talked about a second ago as we close here. Pilgrims wanted to be separate from the Church of England and left for Virginia, but after some navigational errors, they landed on Plymouth Rock in 1620.
We didn't land on
they
Plymouth
formed
Rock.
something called the Mayflower Compact, which is important because it's the first written framework for government in the New World. Unfortunately, due to their bad aim, they landed in Massachusetts a few weeks before winter and started dying, until being saved by Squanto, an Indian, who taught them regional agricultural methods, leading to the first Thanksgiving. Of course,
how did they
Squanto
reward
and
him?
most of his tribe all soon died of disease. That's what you'd get for helping white folks, buddy. But, the Plymouth Company then established its own Headright Act, upping the measly 50 acres per person to 100.
Yeah, we're going to give you 100 acres of shit we don't own. You can just go out there and put a stake in it. Just put a stake there. It's yours. Manifest destiny.
Haas, look, I'm very rich, and I own tons of properties, buildings, companies. I got this bridge that I'm not really fond of anymore.
No.
And I'm gonna sell you this bridge. I have the deed right here.
Right.
Let me sell you this bridge.
What is it a bridge over? A desert? I'll take it.
got some swampland too.
Right.
Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Teaming with water moccasins? I'll take it.
Okay, I'm guessing we're good to go.
Mosquitoes you got to kill with a tennis racket. Jumanji mosquitoes.
Right.
All right, so I'll continue on. Sorry, I lost my headphone there for a quick second.
I thought
so.
In
1629, the Puritans and their own religious separatist mission. I kind of lost my place there. I apologize. In 1629, gave us the Puritans and their religious separatist mission, which oddly said the common good of the many was ordained by God as above the rights of the individual. Unfortunately, the only way that one could vote or hold office was by being a church member. And they are responsible also for the house on the hill metaphor that we are so uniquely loved by God that we should be the model for the world. Yes.
Are there any openly atheist people in Congress today?
I believe there's 3.
I believe there's a couple.
Yeah.
And non-believers make up 40% of the populace.
Right. The most discriminated against religious group in the world. In the country.
Not non-religious group.
They're not religious. Group of people.
I think atheism counts as your faith if you were writing it down, right?
Nope.
Like if someone said, mark your faith on a piece of paper, are you going to leave it blank?
I'm going to say none.
Okay. But you still have to.
Faith. I'm not George Michael in this motherfucker.
It's a religious choice, right?
That's a religious choice. Anger, by the way.
Yeah, it's a religious choice.
Yes.
So
it's not a religious
choice because it's not a religion. It's just
now we're arguing semantics.
It's not semantics.
No, it's
words have meaning.
Is not a religion.
Words have meanings.
Okay, so we can.
My
talk
religion
about
is
this.
my religion is no religion. That what kind of cookie
Yeah.
fortune cookie shit is that?
But the absence of religion is still a status of religious
Absence
choice.
of evidence is not evidence of absence, sir.
But that's a false equivalency.
So
That's false
what's can your favorite hobby be not collecting things?
Yeah.
No, but if you have a hobby, you would write down what your hobby is. If you say I don't have hobby, then you could say none.
Right,
That's
but your hobby wouldn't be not having a hobby, and that's what you're saying when atheism is a religion.
Yeah.
But if someone says to me, "What's your favorite hobby?" I still say I don't have a favorite hobby, which means that is my opinion on the hobby.
If you say, "What's your favorite? What's your religion?" I don't have a religion.
If it's important to you to not be able to not want to answer that question, then that's fine. I can't make that decision for you.
You can try to gaslight me, but it doesn't still change the fact.
How am I gaslighting you? I'm saying that if
I try to act like I'm being like reactionary in my decision making, you're wrong on this.
How am I wrong? Tell me how. I'm open.
Because it's not a religion.
It's not a religion. Atheism,
it's the absence of it.
So how is it something if it is the absence of it, Dutch?
Yeah.
Because your choice
religion can't be the absence of religion.
Your choice is to not be religious.
So that means that means I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. I don't have a religion.
Right. I give you a piece of paper and said, I'm doing a survey.
You're trying to put somebody in a box. That's you trying to label somebody.
If I'm doing a survey that we're using for demographics for voters, let's say.
Yes.
In fact, Mikey just talked about it a minute ago because he said, how many atheists are in Congress? We know this information because someone did a survey. Were they gaslighting when they did the survey?
Yes, 100%. Because
then how would we know that? Then how would we know that atheists are underrepresented?
They are putting it in a box that it shouldn't be in.
But we would not know that atheists. We would not know that atheists are not that atheists are underrepresented if we didn't have the survey.
But the survey in itself is putting a label on a term that it shouldn't be in.
Well, that is no. Hold on. Because that's just.
I'm not even an atheist, and I'm defending atheists.
So Dutch, you just said it backwards. So enough people say that they are religious, and then there's like what 3, 5 that say that they're not religious. So you don't have to ask an atheist or an atheist what their religion is to figure out how many people in Congress are atheists or non-believers.
What does that have to do with the question?
If there's 3 of us in here and they say, "Hey, who's a Christian?" and you 2 raise your hands. Who's a Muslim? I don't raise my hand. Who's a Jew? I don't raise my hand. And if I don't raise my hand for any of them, they would deem me an atheist, which would be correct.
Okay, so let's say that you went to Congress. Okay, you won a congressional seat.
Look out, AOC.
Okay, let's say you won a congressional seat, and
Dutch is famous for this, by the way.
Nobody, when you were getting sworn in, they didn't bother to ask you what your preference was, as far as to what book to swear in on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
so that
like
would
Calvin
be
and Hobbes.
not giving you a choice. So you get to make that choice. You can get sworn in on fucking the dictionary if you want to.
Calvin and Hobbes. I told you.
Okay. So, but because it wouldn't make any difference if you were to swear in on the Bible that you don't believe in, your oath would mean nothing. 100%. If you were to swear in on a Quran and I don't believe in the Quran, my oath on the Quran means nothing.
Right.
Right? If they had made Ilhan Omar swear in on the Bible, like people wanted her to do, that would have been the stupidest thing they could do.
100%.
Because that means nothing to Ilhan Omar, except for that it's a sacred book in Islam. But no, you get the point. To get the most honest answer out of her, she's going to swear on the Quran. So you do want them to be able to give you that choice and say, hey, you know what? I would prefer to swear in on nothing.
But that doesn't make you a religion.
So you're getting to make that choice.
But that doesn't make you a religion.
But it makes it a religious choice.
No, it doesn't. You're saying I don't have a religion. That's not a religion.
Which
choice.
Is
a religious choice.
Later,
by definition, is a choice from a list of religions. If you are not a religious person and you don't believe in God,
so are you saying that religious is a genetic thing? Your religious choice is genetic?
I'm saying this to say, I'm not going to say what is your favorite wine and put a bourbon in it. You know,
But who's doing that?
that's what I'm. That's
If
exactly.
you ask me what my favorite wine is, I say I don't drink wine.
You're proving my point.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. You're not making any sense. You're literally making no sense.
That people are putting a list of things together and saying, "What is your religion of choice?"
Why are you?
And then they're putting a bourbon in with the list of wines. They got Christianity, Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, Baha'i faith,
or none.
Scientologists, and they put none or atheist, right?
Okay,
that's
none is not
bourbon. That is a bourbon in a list of wines.
Okay, but if I give you if you give me a list of wines,
and you put a bourbon,
and I put none, that's still a choice. Bourbon is a false equivalency because bourbon is a different kind, is not a wine.
That is exactly.
And
that does not make. But to put none there doesn't make that a religious choice.
Right, hold on, finish your thought because I can't listen and talk at the same time.
To put none in there doesn't make that a religious choice. A religion. Look up the definition of religion.
Right.
So if you look up the definition of religion, nowhere in that definition is there anything about not believing in a higher power at all. So by definition, being an atheist cannot be a religion because there's no.
Why is it that atheists are more religious
power
about their atheism than most people are about their religion?
That's conjecture. You're just saying that.
Yeah, now
it's not conjecture. It's obviously true. All I did is say that
the goalpost to try to
all
make.
I have done here. Listen, all I've done here is said that you get the choice to say none, and that has led to this defense that you don't even want to be able to do that.
No, it's just saying
that's not what was said earlier.
Yeah,
it's not a religious choice.
Even if you leave it, even if you don't check, even if you don't check anything in that box, they're going to say, "Oh, they must be an atheist." Right. They're putting you in the box. You didn't put yourself in the box. They are putting you in the box. Name me. When did the atheists meet?
What's our
all the time online?
When do they go
all the time online?
When do they go?
How many atheist groups?
Who do they pray to?
How many atheist groups are you in, Mikey?
Okay, so we're Dig on America podcast is a religion because we meet every week and talk.
Somebody could make it a religion, I suppose, but that would be pretty silly.
Come on, Dutch.
And that's what you're trying to do to atheists.
No, I'm not doing anything to atheists.
You're trying to put them in a box to make you comfortable.
I'm saying that like look at it with gender. If you say I don't want to put a gender choice, that's that's okay. They'll support that. But if they say I don't want to make a religious choice, now I want to support it.
That's apples and oranges.
Yeah. To say I'm non-binary means I'm non-binary.
Okay, to say you're non-religious means you're non-religious.
But being non-religious is not a religion.
And being non-binary is not having a gender.
Exactly.
But it's still, but you still have to ask the questions on a survey.
You don't have to ask the question. They put the question there.
You do if you're trying to do scientific statistical analysis. You do have to ask those questions because you have to know what types of groups lead to people giving perspective.
Asking the question does not make them a religion.
So let me
said it was a religion. When did I ever say that atheism is a religion? I said it's a religious choice.
Hold on.
You just said it. You just said it again. It's a religious choice. It's not a religious choice.
Is saying this is a religious choice the same thing as saying this is a religion? Saying this is a religion means it's a religion. Saying it's a religious choice
it's not a religious
choice on whether or not to engage in a religion.
Being an atheist is not in the box of religions, so it's not a religious choice.
So
then if you decided, so if you were an atheist,
time out.
And then you decided to become a Christian, then how do you reconcile that?
Okay, time out. Before you answer that, time out. Google's definition of religion seems pretty fair. The belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods.
So
you can't make a religious choice if you don't believe in any of that.
You are making a religious choice. You're making a choice on whether or not to have a religion or whether or not to believe a certain thing. And you have every right to do that.
Dutch, you should open up a moving company because you're always moving the fucking goalpost, dude.
Okay, explain to me.
Very fucking successful.
Explain to me in detail how I've moved the goalpost 1 inch from my original statement that it's a religious choice.
It's not a religious choice.
Okay, what is it?
You keep trying to talk. I'm telling you this. I told you a million times. People put the question in a box that it shouldn't be in.
Okay, so what do you want to be there instead?
It don't have to be anything there.
So you don't want people who are doing scientific studies to do surveys?
No. See, you're putting words in my mouth. If you don't check the fucking box, then guess what? Oh, they must not have a belief system like that. So we will put.
Hold on.
So when someone goes to,
hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Just listen in here.
Discriminated against religious group in the world, in the country.
Not non-religious group.
They're not religious.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, so
that's what we're talking about. I don't know where you've gone from there, but that's what I've been talking about.
Okay, well, obviously, what I said there was not accurate.
Okay,
but you understood.
That's
all.
You
understood precisely what I was saying, and then just like you did last week, I said something when I'm speaking really fast and trying to get through something, and then I clarify my statement, but you don't care that I've clarified it. You're still going back to point A when I've clearly clarified what point A was that I didn't mean.
So they're not a religious group.
So I would define an atheist as a person who has made a choice not to engage in religion.
And
however, we cannot just assume. Go finish your thought.
What would you call a group of atheists? Would you call them a religious?
I'd call them atheists.
Okay.
But that's their choice when it comes to the silo of religion.
It's not that they're not even in the silo of religion because they don't believe in it at all.
You're choosing not to go into it. That's fine.
That doesn't make me
not
an
a religious.
occupant.
That doesn't make
so.
Me, that,
so are you
not
saying
even
that
in the
we should?
silo?
So
in
are
the
we
silo
saying
of
that we
religions
should?
Are people that believe in a higher power.
Okay.
Atheists don't believe that. That's a whole separate silo. They've been forced into a silo that is not theirs to be in.
Okay, so should we not ask questions on where do you want this question removed from?
They don't have to be anywhere.
Okay.
They don't have to be anywhere.
So going back to my Congress thing.
Yeah.
I have the right as a Muslim. Let's say I'm a Muslim. Mm-hmm. I want to be sworn in on the Quran. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that they don't want to piss off atheists, they don't even ask me the question. They don't even give me the choice.
Okay.
So now you're discriminating against the Islamic person, weren't you?
No, because guess what?
I'm not the one asking the question. The
motherfucker getting sworn in will be like, okay.
Well, I mean, above someone's holy book, which I hope they're in there to do, is the job of the people and to uphold the law. So swearing on things has been cast out a million times, especially when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses. They can't swear on things at all. But there's been Jehovah's Witnesses that have been in there, and they affirm their testimony under penalty of perjury. It is the law that binds us, not a religious book. It doesn't matter if it's a Bible, a Quran, or Calvin and Hobbes.
I agree with
it doesn't matter.
I agree. I think
why would you bring up?
You don't even have to use a book.
Yeah, you don't need a book.
I agree with you.
Put your hand over your heart.
But that's my choice, and that's your choice. If someone else has the choice to do it that way, I don't want to marginalize their choice either.
We're not marginalizing them, but they're doing that out of tradition, not out of something that is in their religion that dictates that when they swear on things, a Bible must be present. That's not part of Christianity or Islam. That's not part of that.
But that's part of tradition, though.
Yeah, an American tradition, not a religious tradition.
Well, does it really matter? I think I don't know if it's American.
Aeolion had a great comment about tradition. It is also tradition that things can and must change, Your Highness. That's from Coming to America. Okay, so
you have to tell me. You have to tell me what it is that you want to. What is it you want to have changed?
Nothing. Guess what? Here's the thing. You don't put atheism in the same silo as religion. And this is one of the things we must change. We got to stop forcing things into boxes to make us feel comfortable. You know,
But that's not.
But,
That's not.
but if you don't give people a choice,
no,
then you're putting
give
that
a choice.
person into a
You can put
box.
the
I'm
religion-
sorry if you don't like that.
you can
I'm
say-
sorry if that's inconvenient for you.
Dutch. You can put the fucking question up there, religious affiliation. If the motherfucker doesn't check the box, then you know they have no religious affiliation.
Great.
So then your statistic says none. It's
Great.
easy. But that's
Okay.
not a religious
I
choice.
don't disagree with that.
But that's not a
But
religious choice.
But the box is still there.
No, there's not a box there. The box, the religious affiliation box is there. That's
Right.
great. But don't put atheism in it because it's not a religious affiliation.
So are you worried
That's
about the
all I'm
word
saying.
atheism, or are you are you
I'm
worried
worried.
about it saying none?
When you say that that's a religious choice, that is a false statement. You should not say that, because choosing not to be not to be atheist, not to have a religion, is not a religious choice. That
What
is
is it?
saying I don't subscribe to any
So
religion.
if it's not a choice, then it has to be genetic.
What are you talking about?
You're trying to
You're getting there. You're getting to that choice somehow.
dude.
You've made that decision.
Don't believe
Somehow.
in a higher power. You don't believe in a higher power. So a religious choice goes right back to the first term in that phrase, religious. If you
Mhm.
don't believe in any type of religion, it can't be a religious choice. It's not.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
what I'm saying. You keep trying to say that to choose to be atheist is a religious choice. It is not a religious choice. A religious choice has to come from the list of religions.
So would you be more comfortable if I said it's the choice to not make a choice?
No,
I think you're just adding. I think you're adding an extra choice.
Honestly,
in there.
I see
You
all
have
of the comments.
have this reflexive need to put something in a box that doesn't need to be
Why do I have a reflexive need to do that?
Because
It doesn't
you're fighting-
bother me at all. I don't care.
about this. We've been talking
Exactly.
about this.
Because you guys get so tied up on tiny little details of things that don't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
can't put
If you don't want to have a religion, don't have a religion.
But don't call it religious choice then. That's not a religious choice.
But in the
If I
in
say
the
what type
context of
oranges do you
asking
like,
someone,
if I
if
say
they-
what type of oranges do you like, I can't say I
False
like Granny
equivalency.
Smith apples.
false equivalency.
No, it's not. It's the same
No, it
thing.
isn't.
It's the same thing.
No, it isn't. It's not the same thing. Because if you ask me what type of apples I like, I'll tell you I don't like apples. So my choice on apples is zero. It's
Right.
none.
But if your choice is none of the things that are part of that category,
My
then
choice is none of the things that are part of that category.
Then guess what?
then
You're
you're
not-
not in. Then you're
But
not
I
in the.
still made a choice on the category.
But if the survey
Make
was
a choice is to choose one.
But exactly. So if the survey was about apples and you choose oranges, your input is not relevant to the data about apples. You're
Right.
not part of that at all. You would go in a totally separate chart.
Sure, I will agree with that, but I don't believe that's a direct equivalency to what we're talking about. You're trying to separate yourself more from religiosity because you don't like it for some reason, and that's fine. You
No,
don't have
it's
to like
just
it.
that it's not religiosity. It's not.
It's the absence of it. The absence of air is a vacuum, but it's still a number of air. Zero.
Just because there's not,
Come on, man.
if there's gas in a room and then it's not air, that doesn't mean that it's automatically a vacuum. There's any number of gases that could be in that same area. So
Right.
Again, so if you're doing a calculation of how much air is in a room and there's nothing but sulfur dioxide in there, then
But
it's
sulfur
it's
dioxide is a
different.
chemical.
So is air, Dutch. Stop.
Yes, I get that. But you wouldn't have a vacuum if you had sulfur dioxide in it. You would have a container of sulfur dioxide.
You're presenting me with containers of something, and then you're telling me I have to be part of something in that container. And I'm saying, no, I could be in a totally different container. And you're like, I don't know, still a container. It's like,
No, what I'm telling you is that when someone asks you a question about religion, you almost seem like you're saying that they don't have the right to ask you that.
that's not what I'm saying.
Then what are you? then
I'm saying
around it.
I'm saying I'm not religious.
Great.
So I don't make religious choices.
Okay.
That's what this was initially about, and that's what I will maintain to this point right now. There is nothing religious about me.
Okay. But is the absence of having religion something that is useful information in some context?
Sure.
Great.
It could be. It depends on what kind of information you're looking for. What
Right.
information would you
That's
be
exactly
seeking?
my point.
Okay. So what information would you be seeking that would alienate an atheist from any qualifications
Well,
that
I'm
any
not
of the
looking to
bottle of
alienate, but for example, if I wanted to know like how
differentiate
right.
from any differentiate from
maybe
any of the
voting
religions.
patterns.
So what is the voting patterns
So
of
then
atheists have to do?
you just take the people that don't check anything in the box and you analyze their voting patterns.
Right.
But
And that's still a group.
That's still not. It's a group, but it's not a religious choice.
But if I'm doing a scientific study on it and I'm saying people of this religion vote Republican 80% of the time, people of this religion vote Republican 7% of the time, and people of no religion vote Republican 13% of the time, it's still a part of the same study.
That's not our fault.
No, yeah, that's the fault of the constructors of the study.
Right. Like maybe don't align.
So you don't think it's useful
to base things on religion?
Well, if I'm doing marketing, it's very useful.
Sure. If that's how you want to spin it, but marketing always has its ups and its downs. I mean, how are you going to market to atheists?
But
what would you do to appeal to atheists?
Maybe the question is, how wouldn't I? I wouldn't market to you.
That's a dude in a marketing firm. That's his job to figure out all that other shit. Everybody who's an atheist just walking around living their damn life. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. But it is quite offensive to be considered religious. I don't judge
not a religious choice. It's not something based on a belief in anything.
Marketing actually is a science, but
marketing is a science.
Yeah,
but you don't have to put them in that box. That's what I keep saying to you.
Okay,
you're trying to make this a religious choice. It's not a religious choice.
So if there's an atheist,
a religious choice is to choose from a box of religions. Go to the box.
So we're arguing. There's two different layers.
That doesn't go to the box. That's you analyze how many people that don't go to the box.
How do we get down these rabbit holes? I don't understand.
Because you say some crazy shit, man.
What I'm saying is completely fine. I don't even understand why you have a problem
to you, and then we took up uppance with it.
We challenged
clearly.
And we have to challenge you because it's not right to say, "Oh, that's a religious choice," and we're supposed to be fine with that. That's not right.
So
I'm not even an atheist, and
I'm equating atheism. Are you equating your atheism, Mikey? I'm asking you a sincere question.
Say, wait, that's me. That's me now.
Okay. Are you equating your atheism and your status as an atheist as similar in your arrival to that as someone who was born one gender and then identifies as another?
Hold on, Haas.
Because Christianity is a choice.
Jeebus Creebus. Let me ask a clarifying question. Okay. What do you mean by in your arrival to? Like, what does that mean? Like, rephrase it for me, because
so were you born an atheist?
No.
Okay. So how did you become one?
When I moved out of my mama's house and learned things for myself, and I stopped listening to other people.
Okay. So, but you could have chosen to continue to live the way that you were living in your mom's house.
I probably did for a few years.
Okay.
But then, yeah.
So is it fair to say
if you're going to ask me a question, I really need you to let me answer.
Okay.
But
again, it's hard for me to hear. I apologize.
Okay. So when I get out in the real world and I am all by myself and I am on my own and I reach out to the things that I was taught as a child and none of it happens and none of it happens and none of it happens.
Right.
Maybe nothing's there.
Okay.
So after realizing the hard way that nothing's there for me, then I have to understand and I have to contextualize what that means for me as a person, as a man going forward. And then that's how I attune my life.
Okay. So let me ask you if this is a fair question.
Mm.
If you had decided to continue to believe what I'm guessing, I don't want to assume, but I'm guessing the faith that your parents had instilled in you as a child, right? Is that an accurate assessment?
Sure.
Okay. So if you had chosen to continue, well, I use the word chosen, so I use it myself, but if you had continued believing in Christianity or whatever faith it was, would you have characterized that remaining a Christian as a choice to do so?
Wayne Maker in the chat. See,
that's the whole point, Wayne. You just made my point for me.
Right.
You just made my point.
No, but the thing was with the religion of my upbringing, that was indoctrination. That I wasn't given a choice.
That wasn't a choice, right?
I was just told this is what it is. And then I had a choice of whether to maintain that or to just let it fall by the wayside.
Yahtzee.
But that's still not a religious choice. That's not a religious choice.
So according to Dutch, every time you don't do something, you've chosen to do it but not do it. Because
technically, only thing that's happening is electricity is going around in your brain.
Dutch, a religious choice is the choice of the religions. If you don't believe in religion, you don't believe in religion. It's not a religious choice.
But you've come to that realization by some amalgamation of facts or data, or the absence of it.
That doesn't make it a religion.
Or the absence of. So my question to you, so hold on, I let you go. Now it's my turn.
Sure.
For me, I had no evidence to prove what I was believing.
Right.
Do you have evidence to prove what you are believing?
There's no such thing. I'm not trying to.
And that is the difference between us. So without going into all of this grandiose detail where you have to explain everything, I'm saying I saw no evidence for what I was believing, and I decided not to believe it because there was nothing there in the first place.
Okay.
I believe something that I feel wasn't true from jump. So as soon as I drop someone's religion, I'm no longer religious. That religion now and spirituality, that belongs to the religious people. I am no longer associated with that because I have dropped what they gave me and I carried for a long time.
Okay,
so if I'm not
hold
on. So if I'm not carrying a religion and you go around the room and you start asking everybody, what religion are you carrying and what religion are you carrying? And I have nothing in my hands. You can't tell me I'm carrying a religion.
I can't because you dropped it.
Exactly, Dutch.
Right.
Exactly.
But when you dropped it, here's the question I'll ask you. And I'm not saying this. What?
That's to say I'm not religious anymore or never been or whatever. That's not a religious choice because you have to.
I didn't choose it. I didn't choose it to start with.
The very word religious choice goes back to the root religious, just like wine choice, bourbon choice,
apples,
peanut butter and jelly or strawberry jam, sandwich choice. You know what I'm saying? If you say, hey, what kind of wine do you like? And I say, I don't like wine. Am I going to respond? That's an interesting wine choice. No, I don't like wine. I had wine. I had wine, and I don't like it. But you can't say on a survey that's his wine choice.
But that's not the wine choice. Because you've experienced wine and you didn't like it, you made the decision that you're not going to have a wine choice.
But if you in conversation say, what is your favorite wine? And I say, I don't like wine. That's not a wine choice. Because what is your favorite wine?
It is a wine choice.
No, it is not. Because I would say if
it's
I
none.
said,
see, I think you guys hold on real quick. I think you guys are confusing. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I think you're confusing my trying to justify religion, because you guys tease me all the time about, maybe you want to go on my friend's Christian podcast. Just because I believe that it's probable, based on cosmological theory, that there is a deity.
Nolan's a good guy. I think you guys would get along. How dare you?
I don't have any tie to specific religious traits, right? So I don't identify with the evangelical church. I don't identify with the Baptist church or anything of that nature. So I actually would also say that I don't choose a particular religion, and I would also mark that choice as none.
You would be like an agnostic, which is not a religion.
I'm not necessarily an agnostic. I'm not necessarily an agnostic.
Agnostic is that you don't believe that anyone could actually know whether or not a deity would exist.
Or I've heard it defined as you're an atheist until proven otherwise. Is that
I understand agnosticism as you believe there's a higher power, but you don't subscribe necessarily to organized religion.
I would call that a theist.
That's more theist or spiritual.
Yeah.
Because agnostic's kind of like I don't know. I don't know if there's a God.
Right.
You don't know you don't know that there's a God.
I just learned something. Now
right.
I would define myself more as a theist or creation. I made up a term called creatio evolutionist.
Well, that's what you are then, I guess.
Trademark.
But see, I'm not
copyright.
I'm not trying to defend Christianity, and nor will I ever. Okay.
No. I'm not saying that. Dutch, don't be disillusioned. I'm not saying that. I just feel like you're trying to put atheism in a box that it shouldn't be in. When you say that it's a religion.
I am putting it in a box if what you're asking me is, do I believe that it is a choice, that a person makes a conscious choice to be atheist? Yes, I believe that.
Religious choice, because the root.
What else would it be?
The root of religious choice is religion.
A logic choice, an evidence choice.
But here's the thing, Mikey. When you say it's a logic choice and an evidence choice, if someone else is a Muslim and they don't believe what you've said, then don't you think that they would take offense to what you just said?
They can defend their claim, and I'm ready to defend mine.
Okay, but it's not about that. I don't care to try to prove God to you.
But being a Muslim is already considered in the box of religions,
because it believes it, because it purports to believe in the supernatural
of God here.
Okay,
so if I don't believe in the supernatural,
if I'm not saying that you are, so we're saying that you're trying to put atheism in the box of religious choices, and it's not. It by definition it is not, because atheism is the absence of religion, so it can't be a religious choice.
And on top of that, me and the Muslim are two very different categories, because he has supernatural things that he has to explain. I have science and the natural world around me, and that explains what I believe, which is science and the natural world around me. I don't have, the burden of proof is on him to explain his supernatural deities and his supernatural miracles and all that other. That's on him. That's his thing. I have nothing to do with that.
But that's not.
But I'm
point.
ready.
When it comes to that argument.
Well, you asked me why would I use logic and evidence, and that's why I'm using logic and evidence, because those are things that I can tangibly and demonstrably prove.
That led you to that decision.
Your turn, Haas. I'm tapped out on all this because he's not hearing me, and I'm not interested.
I'm hearing you, but you're saying that because the evidence supports no God, right?
John 3:16. Is that what you want? What do you look like? There is no religious answer I can give about why I'm non-religious.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is the point you think I'm trying to make?
I don't know what you're saying, because you keep going from here and there and here and there. You made one statement that as if atheists were a religious group. I push back, Haas push back. And now you're on to something else. I'm not sure where you're trying to go. I'm just trying to explain to you that I'm not religious, and it's offensive to be called religious because I can see with the logic and the evidence what religion does and what it does to people.
I agree with that.
I don't want to be associated with that at all.
I agree.
Which is why atheists take umbrage with being called a religious group. We don't want to be associated with none of that shit.
That's fine. I respect that. So if I would have said, say, your worldview when it comes to whatever, insert verb, then you may not have been offended. But because of the fact that I said that atheists are the most offended religious group, is that what I said? Possibly that they're the most marginalized religious group. In fact, what I was saying is that it's harder for atheists to sell their worldview to people because they're, for whatever reason,
I don't think
to get into Congress
try to sell their worldview. I think that atheists.
I think people have a problem with it though because it's hard to get elected.
But that's not the atheist problem. That's
the society's problem, right? Right. I'm with you on that. I'm not against that.
Okay.
It's just an answer. It's just atheism is just an answer. Like being an atheist is the answer to one question: do you believe God exists? I say no. That's all it is.
But
so all of the shit that comes after that, I have nothing to do with. I have nothing to do with any of that. None of it.
That's fine. I have no problem with that.
All right, my cigar is almost gone.
Okay, so anyway, we got away from the stuff. I was luckily at the end.
Thank God.
I did have one paragraph left. So you ruined my segment. Thank you very much. So now next week we have to try it again. So I will read the closing I have here. It's important to note that actually I had one and a half more left to go here. So in 1629, which gave us the Puritans and their religious separatist mission, which I already read this part, oddly said the common good of the man was ordained by God as above the rights of the individual. Unfortunately, the only way one could hold office was by being a church member, and that they are responsible for the house on the hill metaphor, that we are so uniquely loved by God that we should be the model for the world. Now, lastly, anyone practicing any other religion was promptly banned from the community by the church members in power. And of course, women were treated as second-class citizens. So in closing, it's important to note that Europeans came to the Americas looking for gold. Corporations brokered and supported the colonies to support stockholders' interests and the crown by stealing land and labor and giving it away. While the earliest forms of government are historic, they were not particularly fair, they were not particularly equal, and were dominated by men looking for profit. So hopefully next week I'll be able to do that without having to take the microphone out of my ear. But so we argued about atheism for 45 minutes,
which is beautiful. Do
you have any? What's your feedback to the lesson itself?
That it just proves that we can't trust what we've been taught at school. And it proves that there's a glaring need for honesty in educational curricula, to say the truth and to give young people and the world and the American country, this nation, the truth of who we as Americans are and where we've come from. Because if we don't do that, if we keep glossing over, romanticizing, put it on rose-colored glasses and putting everything through that view, then we're going to continue to have the divides that we have. Because if you're not teaching the ugly underbelly and the truth of our past, then how do we reconcile where we are? Because guess what? The past is a pebble cast into the lake of the universe, and the ripples of go out until today.
Question for Mikey specifically. What is your reaction to the idea that it was corporations looking for profit that were responsible for coming into the New World, as well as the fact that perhaps if you have some feedback on the socialist undertones of the Puritans. Any thoughts on either of those things?
I wouldn't call them socialists.
Oh, no, I wouldn't either. But they did have some socialist leanings when it came to the their belief that the good of the many outweighs the rights of the individual.
That could be a religious trope that they were following. That could be something scriptural that they believed in, but I wouldn't.
They rooted it in religion, so
yeah. Socialism is a much deeper, more nuanced social concept than I would ever attribute them to. The people who shat inside the house with no plumbing and burned their teenagers alive because they had seizures. So yeah, they don't get to be part of the socialism club. What was the second part?
The corporations.
Corporations are machines.
Corporations funded colonization.
So whether they're made out of sticks and twigs like they were back in that day, or they're made out of computer chips like they are made now, their sole duty is to make money, and that's what they do.
You said duty. We've been very, very non-pausal today.
Not a lot of pauses.
Yeah.
The internet's still slow here. You want to get to Big House has two things to do, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, the second thing we're going to do is I just want you to play it. If you got it. Just play it because that's
Mr. Feminier has it.
Which one?
The Phyllis Wheatley.
Yeah.
But not now, after the humidor.
After the what?
The who?
You will never find a more wretched hive scum and villainy.
Welcome to the humidor with Big Hoss. Find out what Hoss is puffin' and drinkin' today. If you try his suggestion and you die. That is natural selection. And the VFU podcast is not responsible for you getting sauce. Now, the one, the only, Big Hoss.
I'm not on drugs.
What up, Big Hoss down in the back cave? Let them people out there know what's really crack-a-lackin' over there in Tobacco Land.
Brother, how you make them get down? I got pimp in my crime. Man.
Oh, I gotta change my picture. Hold on.
I know I reviewed this cigar a long time ago, earlier in the early days of VFU.
Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But
sometimes I wish I said was a kid again. Anyway, but you know something, I need to do it again, and I found these, and I had to buy a few. I am puffing on today, and you see where it's at. It's almost to the cap. You see that? That's how great these fucking cigars are. This is one of my very favorite cigars in the whole wide world, and I love them dearly. Anyway, that's another Coming to America reference if y'all didn't get that. But anyway, this is the Asylum 13.
Ooh.
Medulla oblongata, as my man in the Waterboy would say, the medulla oblongata.
Something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
Says that happiness comes from magic rays of sunshine that come down when you're feeling blue.
Mama said that the alligator be so cranky because he got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
But this, I like a lot of the cigars from the Asylum 13, the Asylum line, but this is hands down one of my favorites. And the great thing is, if you buy a box of Asylum 13 Medulla Oblongatas, and
Pause on the box.
Yeah. if you buy, and this is the Maduro, okay? There's the medulla oblongata natural, and there's the medulla oblongata Maduro. Now, both are phenomenal, okay? My personal favorite is the Maduro, but just because I love the Maduro. I love Maduro cigars. And also, if you buy a box, you get half medullas and half oblongatas.
Medulla.
Okay? Now, what is the difference, you might ask?
Hey,
what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference?
The medulla is traditional round in shape, the cigars. The oblongata is a rounded box press. When I say a rounded box press, what I'm saying is the edges here are rounded, but it's flat.
Flip it the other way. There we go.
See how it's oblong there? So it's like an oval, not a traditional circle.
That looks like something else. I apologize. Please never do that again. Never face that at the camera. Never do that again.
It's like this.
We've made a mistake.
We had a pause in the
that was the very first visual pause.
Very first visual pause in DOA history. So as you all know, if you've listened to this show at all and gotten to the humidor section, you know that I love box press cigars. So
That's true.
I am partial to the oblongata. I've smoked the Maduro, and I smoked the oblongata Maduro, and for some reason, I love the oblongata. This Vitola, if we had gotten to this sooner, you would have seen, but that's okay. This Vitola is the 770 Gordo. Okay. So a 7-inch pause. There we go. By 70-inch. 70
centimeters.
70 centimeter ring gauge. So it's a thick one. Pause. Okay.
I've heard that the ladies like girth.
I've heard that too.
That's what I hear. I've heard it on the internet, so it must be true.
Hey, I'm what's known as a dual threat. Anyway,
yikes.
So
wowzers.
The Asylum line is created by Christian Arroyo. And if you know that, if you're a cigar person, you know that name, you know that the guy makes amazing cigars. He makes amazing boutique cigars. Okay. The Asylum cigars, that line is handcrafted in Honduras. I'm sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Great flavor. And as you can see, I mean, Jesus Christ, the construction is beautiful. I have a lot. You know what? I'm going to take the rest of the band off here so that you can kind of see a little bit of the construction of the cigar.
I heard bands make up. Ah, you just ripped it.
I fucked up the cap. I fucked up the cap when I made the cut. It's a V cut, as you can see, which caused some pausation. But I fucked up the cap when I cut it. But as you can see, this is smoother than the last few cigars I've smoked. Not as much veinage. Pause. Okay.
Girth and veins. What are we talking?
It's not as veiny. It's not as veiny. But beautiful coloration. The milk chocolate joint there. You know, really good construction. Really good burn line. Not too bad. You know, a little wave there. But the ash, I got out to about 2 inches on the ash pause before it wanted to fall off. But I actually tapped it myself. I typed that ash myself because I wanted to protect the burn in there. Sometimes the ash gets so long that you actually smother the tobacco out and it'll go out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get there, Aunt Jer. So, as I was saying, the Asylum this is Honduras. The binder is Corojo and Honduran leaf. The filler is all Honduran, okay? And the wrapper is a Maduro San Andres. And when I say Andres, I mean Andres. Andres, not Andreas.
I played the Grand Theft Auto.
Right. Andreas and Andres are two different places. Okay. So the seeds are all Honduran. And the wrapper is a Mexican San Andres leaf, but the seeds were grown in Honduras. Okay, so when we talk about that, we got to understand that. All right. So I love the oblongata because it does have a great cornucopia of flavor. All right, or nuance, or whatever you want to call it. But you get some black pepper, you get some leather, you get some coffee, you get a little earth towards the end here. I'm getting towards the end, so I'm getting more earth than I normally would. Beautiful. But I like the idea of the 50-50 split in the box because
cool.
Although I prefer the oblongata, the Maduro is a great smoke as well. I mean, the Medulla is a great smoke in itself as well.
Oblongata is the 770.
No. You can get these both in the 770, but the oblongata is just a box press 770, whereas the Medulla is a round.
Gotcha.
770.
Gotcha.
Okay. I love the box press. I've always had a preference for that, and for some reason, the box press gives me a little bit more flavor than the regular Vitola, the round Vitola. For some reason, I don't know why. I'll have to figure out why. But
teacher, I was actually just about to ask that question.
Sure.
Is there any flavor difference in the way that the cigar is pressed?
You know something?
Because could it be the press itself that's infusing each cigar with a little extra seasoning salt, some Lari's seasoning salt?
This guy got a little bit of tahini on it. You know what I think?
A little tahini on the salmon fillet.
No, what I think is this. This is what I truly believe. I believe that the box press makes the cigar a little bit wider, so it disperses the heat differently than the traditional round Vitola.
I just solved it.
You just what?
I just solved it.
I'm thinking about it right now.
It's the amount of cigar. It's like if you eat ice cream.
Wait, hold on. I fell out of the nerd voice. Hold on, let me fix it.
Yes, it's like if you eat ice cream with a fork as opposed to a spoon, you taste less metal. And then you taste more ice cream, and that's just
no.
Taste more.
I don't believe that at all.
But because it's flat, you're tasting more of instead of, because you've told me that the wrapper is where all the flavor is, and if the wrapper is flat and more wrapper is burning at once,
no, because what happens is this: the oblongata starts off as a medulla. And they just pack it differently, so you get the box press.
Then I got nothing.
That's right. So now let me present my hypothesis. This is what I believe, and this is just now thinking about it. When you box press it, you disperse things a little bit wider, right? So the burn is a little bit different. It's just a tiny bit girthier. So now the heat is spread over a larger surface area.
That's what I just said.
Okay,
more surface area.
You said something about a fork or some shit. But anyway, so then
more surface area. Like you were getting more, yeah.
It burns a little bit differently. So, and it actually, I think it reduces the heat signature a little bit, so that the tobacco isn't burning at as high of a temperature. And I could be totally wrong. So you're able to get more of the true flavor and nuance and experience the cigar in a different way. That's what I think. Okay. Now, I paired this. Well, right now I've got some wine. That's because I ran out of the drink I made because, I was drinking fast. And that's why I don't drink too much, because I'm a fast drinker. All right. So I had to start a tequila sour. You heard everybody's heard of a whiskey sour. I made a tequila sour,
I found
which
the answer.
was 4 ounces of De Leon Añejo tequila.
Are you sure you weren't having an amaretto stone sour?
No, it's a tequila sour. Get the shit right.
Stone sour sucks.
De Leon Añejo tequila, 4 ounces. 2 ounces of lemon juice. Okay. And 2 tablespoons of simple sugar. Shake it up in ice. Tap that bitch. So when I was drinking that, I got a little bit more of for some reason, I got a little bit more of the leather nuance, and I got a little bit more of the earth. And I think that's because of the strength of the tequila. That contributed to the earthy, and then the leather, I think, was brought out a little bit because of the combination of simple syrup, and lemon juice.
This is Mikey Famine, man on the street. I have this just in, Big Hoss. From Google, according to advocates, the squared shape of box press cigars beautifully enhances and intensifies tobacco flavors. The packing process involves a gentle application of pressure that condenses the tobacco leaves and results in a cigar with a better draw and a cooler, steadier burn. Back to you, Big Hoss.
Fuck I just said. So a motherfucker's hypothesis was correct.
You hypothesizing in this bitch.
Hypothesizing in this motherfucker. Next, we're going to Pythagorean theorems. But anyway, so I drank up all my goddamn tequila sour. So I had to switch to the old standby, the Aldi quarter cut. Okay?
Stop drinking
that. Aldi in this motherfucker.
Stop drinking that.
Good.
I like it. I love you too much to let you keep drinking that shit. Stop it.
It is finished. Is a Cabernet Sauvignon finished in bourbon barrels.
Yeah. A lot of wines are doing that these days.
It's trendy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a little bourbon action, but it's sweet. So it actually brought out some sweetness of the cigar. It's like a black cherry or something like that. And it changed the profile of the cigar for me. It muted. Oh my God. I'm not even going to entertain what Wayne makes.
Don't ignore him.
Because Carl Cox's neck is so fucking fat. But anyway, it muted a little bit of the earth because I switched to the wine and I left the ice in it with the wine too, so that kind of muted a little bit as well.
That's my deep dark confession. Sometimes I will put a little bit of ice in wine. If it's fucking, my kitchen gets very hot and then I ruined my fucking wine and I have to. So I hear you.
Yeah, I'm down here in the basement. Like I got all my stuff down here in the basement where it's cool and dank. But it muted a little bit of the earth. It mutes a little bit of the leather. It brings out a little bit of a sweetness in the tobacco that I don't think a lot of people pair this cigar with wine. So you might not get this essence from it unless you do. You know what I mean? So this is, like I said, this is one of my favorite cigars in the whole wide world. Whenever I find them, because for some reason they're hard to find. Not a lot of places carry them. And when you go online for them, they're often back ordered. Okay. But you can find, most of the time I smoke the Gordo, which is a 660. 660 meaning 6-inch by 60-inch ring gauge. And that is a very popular Vitola, so it's often back ordered. So I end up with the 680 Gordo, which is the big fat one. I mean, that's a big 6-inch by 80 ring gauge. So that's like a nice fat.
That's a whopper, huh?
That's a fat tube. Anyway,
Jesus.
Pause. So, but this one is the 770, and I like it a lot. I prefer the smaller ring gauge because then I get more wrapper, so I get more flavor. Every once in a while, I'll smoke a Robusto, which is 5 by 50, but it's that's another popular one is the Robusto. Now I give
Robusto.
this is one of my higher rated cigars. I give this this is on that 4.8, 4.85 range. What I found is this, and this is what kind of pisses me off, because I came into this, I found this cigar years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and the price point was a lot lower. But it seems that because it's gotten so popular,
They upped the game.
They upped the game on it. So now, I mean, Jesus Christ, and you get a box of 50. You know, I guess when you break it down, that's still not a bad price point. You can get a box of 50 of the 660s that I like between $360 and $400. But it's 50. It's 50 of them. But that's expensive. That is, I mean, you know, that's a pretty hefty price.
We'll see your birthday roll around. We'll see what's popping.
Hey, holla at your boy. Father's Day coming before my birthday.
You're not my father. You ain't getting shit. Not for that birthday.
This is a 4.8 to 4.85 cigar. I love them. If I have a cash windfall, I would freaking get a box of 50, no hesitation. You know, I like the wine pairing for a different experience of this cigar, and I don't think a lot of people do that. The pairing with the tequila sour was pretty good though, and I don't think a lot of people do that either. I think most people go with the bourbon or a whiskey to pair, but I'm the king of trying different things. I got to try it with
you hear that, Ancher?
Some of this Crown Peach and see what kind of sweetness comes out of it there. But I really love this cigar. I would recommend it for the novice smoker because it is a medium to full. It is on the right side of that spectrum, but it's not overpowering. You don't have to eat like a steak dinner or something heavy before you have it. But it's just a very good cigar. And if you're getting into that premium cigar niche and you're trying to move up from the milds and the mediums, this is a great cigar to start with. So I think that the novice smoker that's getting a little bit more advanced would really enjoy this.
Well, Dutch isn't saying it, so I'll say it for him.
What was the rating on that?
4.85.
4.8. Let's just split the difference and call
4.85?
4.825. Because I said 4.8 to 4.
Why do you have to be so exact?
Because that's who I am, man. That's who I am. And
I think you are no infractions.
It's so on the nose.
I'm a little bit of a snob,
no.
And I was going to review another cigar today, but I didn't want to. And full disclosure, I was actually after I got done working today, I really wanted a cigar. And so I pulled this one out, pause, and I started smoking it. And I only got about 1.5 inches in before my wife pause. Before my wife,
you make it too easy.
She wanted me to rub her thigh and rub her feet before I podcasted. Jacob, this is the Asylum Medulla Oblongata. This is the Oblongata version. Okay, Jacob asked the question. I'm just answering this question for him. All right. So, Jacob, if you find these, grab 2 or 3, try them out. I would say this: you grab 2 or 3 if you never had one before. You smoke one right away. You wait about 2 or 3 weeks. You smoke the other one. Then you wait about 4 weeks more, and you smoke the last one. If you've got a humidor that's proper. Can I say this real fast? I got to do a small rest in peace.
Okay.
A small rest in peace to my old humidor.
I thought it was a person. Oh my.
No.
Oh shit! You're knocking over all the shit.
My humidor, this is my first big humidor I bought, right? And I've had it for about 6 or 7 years.
What's wrong with it?
I went to open it and put distilled water into it, as I want to do, especially in the wintertime. I do it every week, and there's mold in here. Somehow a contaminant got into this humidor and it molded. And once a humidor molds, it is done. There's no way to get that crap out.
But
right? So now you can't get it. It's never the same once you try to get it out of there. So this humidor is dead. I want to give it a proper burial. But it treated me well for a long time. Luckily for me, I don't have to buy a new humidor because upstairs I have one of the freestanding refrigerator type humidors, and I'm just going to use that for now, and maybe for Father's Day I'll get another one for down here. But so rest in peace. And definitely make sure, if you're gonna buy some of these cigars, or any cigar for that matter, you want to make sure you get a few and smoke them on a spatial continuum where you can kind of see how they develop if you can properly store them. Okay. All right.
Can I have your humidor?
You can have it. Yeah, I'll leave it right here for you. I'll leave it right here for you. You can try to get the mold.
He'll get it tonight in his evening raid.
I'll come over there and fix your fucking green screen. So I'm gonna have to make a little housekeeping note. I gotta get that green screen back going.
You can go out back
to it.
Clean the pipes by the bushes. By the bush. Pause.
I got another idea of how to get his green screen perfect. And it just might work.
Have him not knock it over?
I didn't knock it over, dude.
No, it had to do with the adhesiveness of the double-sided Velcro tape that we were using.
That's right.
It stuck to the wall, but it didn't stick to the fabric.
Fine. It's fine stuck to the wall, but not to the fabric.
Which is ridiculous to me. But
yeah.
There you go. What can you do?
Damn you, 3M.
I literally bought the name brand shit. It was fucking like $25. So I'm really pissed that it wouldn't stick to fucking fabric.
You see that? You got a request for a White Owl review.
Oh man, when I first started smoking cigars, I smoked peach White Owls. Walking around my subdivision deciding whether I was going to get divorced or not.
Yikes.
2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
And thanks to the White Owl, he said yes.
Here I am.
Every divorce begins with White Owl. That might be a thing. That might catch on.
There we go. Another 5-minute humidor.
That's right. That's right. I got to give y'all the details, though. I mean, I don't want to leave anything out. Pause.
We're going to give you a clock.
You know what? I
have to put it up on screen.
And I apologize. I really start.
No, you don't.
I really need to start doing these things as standalones too sometimes.
Oh, no.
I know a couple of ladies in the chat who are all about that, and they're waiting for that to happen. So
they're waiting for the standalone humidors.
I mean, they've had to listen to all of us fucking bickering for the last fucking 45 minutes just to get to the humidor.
Hey, you know something too? I'll do it from the torch because I get to pick something from the humidor and the torch every time I go in there. And I always pick something I've never had. So it'd be perfect for me to do there before people start coming in. So maybe this Sunday I'll do one from the torch before we have our Super Bowl thing.
Cool.
Hopefully I'll see y'all out there.
Big Haas, was there another thing that we were supposed to talk about from you?
Oh, I just wanted to play this for our Black History Corner. I want to play this video about Phyllis Wheatley.
Yeah, and to the listener or watcher, the watcher listeners, the watcher angels, if you guys have any particular topics you would like us to touch on for BHM, let me know. Let us know and we will.
Nah, this is like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.
Consider it.
Black History Month. Get out of here, BHM.
Right.
Y'all ain't slick.
Even though Black History Month is every month.
Google's calling it BHM right now.
Yeah, Google ain't black. Get out of here. No, you say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. Like a pimp named Slickback. You say the whole thing.
You say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. Lord, guide my hand and make it be strong as I lay my smacketh upon thee.
Like PE? Public Enemy?
Public Enemy, damn it.
Physical education. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Oh, probably should unmute it.
Nice.
Yo, big pause. I'm so sick of these reenactment motherfuckers. Stop it. Cut the bullshit.
It's a whole profession. You got Star Wars reenactors. You got
Galaxy long time ago and the galaxy far, far away. Stop dressing up like these little slave-owning pieces
It's
of
the
shit.
same guys, too, by the
Well, there you go, all of you lovely people. I'll let everybody else go first because I will let everyone else go first.
I think that maybe she was a little disillusioned in her praise of George Washington. And it also goes to there's a good one mindset of certain people that they feel like, oh, Michael Jordan, he's black, but he's not black. Magic Johnson, he's black, but he's not black. Muhammad Ali, same thing. Where instead of seeing these exceptional beings as the rule instead of the exception, it's the reverse. That they feel like they're the exception instead of the rule. Her talent is seen as an anomaly, but it's only seen as an anomaly because it's so scarcely cultivated among the aggregate. You know what I'm saying? So I think that her praise of him is misguided, and his response to her is a response born of, oh, there's a good one, not, oh, maybe these people are human. And I think that, you know, in no disrespect to the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think that he's misguided possibly in saying that, oh, he ascribed her talent and her thoughts about him is as a representation of all black people. I think he thought of it as there's a good one. Plus, she's kind of stroking my ego a little bit. Pause. So I'm definitely going to, because she's being deferential to me, I'm going to give her a little respect because of that. Whereas overall, he still continued to be the same slave owning dude he was. You know what I mean?
Yep. Go ahead, Dutch.
So this is interesting. I think there's I'm gonna move this from my ear. So if you want to interrupt me. But I think there's a couple things true here, or not true, but a couple things interesting here. First of all, you have to think about the characterization of some of the people who are being portrayed in this video. So you don't. I'm not going to say that she was fortunate in any way to be owned by the family that she was owned by. She should not have been owned by any family in the first place.
Right.
I think it's okay to say she perhaps was more fortunate than others.
Yes.
So I want to clarify that statement. Obviously, before I say this, but because she had a degree of fortuneness, which I don't know the word,
just fortune.
Then what ended up happening was she was able to do things and to have these talents come out within her that George Washington himself and me, and in all likelihood, the family, the Wheatley family that owned her, was probably not able to do. I mean, in 16 months to learn Latin, English and another language that I forgot in addition to her native tongue. That's
it was Greek.
quadlingual. That's pretty astonishing in 16 months. And it goes to show, like what this guy Nathan was talking about earlier, when he said, why is it that whites did all these great things? Because of the fact that the opportunity was not there for slaves and for, I'll include Native Americans in this as we
another
history lesson.
I don't mean to step on your toes, but another thing, Dutch, what we have to remember is the innovations and inventions of Black people, especially slave Black people, were considered intellectual property of the slave
owner, right?
So there's a great many innovations and inventions and advancements that where the credit was taken by the slave owner, and they applied for the patent, and therefore they got the credit.
Yeah,
and they
that's
allowed
true.
They allowed that to be so.
So that's all very true, and I think that it's the video is slightly dangerous in one way, though, and it's because of dishonest people. And there are people who will read this and say, "Oh, see, it weren't all bad. I mean, these slave owners were awesome people. She was super lucky to be owned by such novel human beings, and that she was super fortunate to be able to be in a situation where we could make her better than what she would have been in West Africa. I mean, what would she have ever done in West Africa? Nothing. But she came here, and because America is better, and we gave her the tools to be better." I can hear that argument by people. So that argument is obviously stupid. So caution to people who might have the first instinct to do that, because that's just stupid, as I said. But I do think that it speaks again to like what Nathan was talking about earlier when he was ripping on my YouTube video, because she was a percentage of a percentage of a percentage who were, and again, I'm clarifying my statement, had a level of fortuneness as compared to other slaves, where she was able to hone her ability, and look at what she was able to do. So if everyone had been afforded that same opportunity, we would probably be looking at a completely different history than the one that I just read to you earlier.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Revisionist History Channel, for the little blurb there, because if there has ever been, like, it's not even whitewashing. I don't even know what to call it. It's if these white people were so fucking benevolent, they should have freed her immediately.
Right.
They should have just been buying up all the slaves they could and set them all free, if they were as great as they claim to be. And let me tell you something, even though they taught her to read and write and all that shit, and she learned in 60 months, being someone's fucking pet is not being fucking free. And that's what she was. She was an attraction. She was an idea. Oh, look at this little colored one that can learn to read and write letters. Very well, some would say. Even learned Greek last week. Like, being someone's fucking circus fucking show, there's some sideshow shit, is not freedom. I feel for her on a very deep level, because she is not a dancing monkey that, she wrote a letter to the president. How noble of that. And he's going to entertain her. Isn't that curious? And then you're fucking beating and killing and raping her fucking family. Like, get this, like, that's why I hate shit like this, because I don't see any of these slave-owning pieces of shit in any positive light at all. You're all fucking monsters to me. You're fucking cretins. You were the worst things that have ever walked this earth. You were the worst. The worst. There is nothing worse. What did I say? An issue is, and if George Washington, if she had said something contrary to George Washington, they would have murdered her little ass for that. So I'm glad she wrote something positive and glowing about him, because if she didn't, they would have killed her.
Or beat
So-
her with an inch of her life.
I mean, this is like this whole like, oh, I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let me take you back in. And I know he was obviously reading a script of some sort, and he probably just agreed to do the entire project. And then this, maybe he doesn't feel the same sentiments that he read, which is off of a cue card of some sort. But don't read that card. Don't spread this bullshit. Like, she's great because she wrote a letter to the president. She's a fucking slave.
Mm-hmm.
There's other shit to be fucking. I'm more pissed that this family fucking treated her like some sort of fucking talking parrot than a person. Free her if you think she's so fucking smart.
Right.
Make her an adult. Make her an equal to you. If you don't want to do that, then I don't have any.
Can't do that.
If you don't want to make her a fucking equal, then I don't want nothing to do with this fucking conversation. And everyone, I know I'm always like the dark and gloomy guy, but it's so like, just imagine how fucking crazy it is for her to be able to read and write better than everyone else in the fucking town. But she can't. But she's still a fucking slave. She can't do or say anything. She can't leave the house. She can't lead her own life. She can't meet somebody, fall in love, make mistakes. Just be a fucking human. They stripped that from her, and I won't forgive them for doing that.
Yeah, and I think it's also fair to add that another thing they did is, and again, I'm not taking away, like, I think that this girl's story and what she accomplished is something that you can celebrate, because she's celebrating. What we're celebrating is someone who defied the odds and did something pretty astonishing. But then they talked about at the end how,
why is it astonishing? Just because of the, I mean,
because of the hurdles that were put in front of people.
Well, I mean, I think that I think it would be more astonishing if the family she was bought into, that she was sold to, did not want her to become educated, and she learned Latin and all these other things in spite of that. But the fact that they encouraged that, they just let her natural intelligence and abilities come out. That's not astonishing to me. That's just what happens when you allow people to be who they are.
That's true, but also take into context what she had gone through. This woman was kidnapped, sailed across. They flew her on a magic horse.
No, but she survived the trip.
Yes, she survived the trip. She's sitting there living with a family that she doesn't even know, and away from everyone that she holds dear. That is trauma. Okay.
Oh, of course. Yes.
So yes, it is astonishing to me that someone who goes through that much trauma,
that she didn't revert inside herself.
Because that was the general goal, was to accomplish that, was to break the humanity out of people. So, and then they talked about later how when this family freed her, they talked about, they freed her, because of how great she was, forgetting to mention that they, did they free everyone that they had? Did they turn and become abolitionists, that sort of things? They didn't give us that information, so we don't know, but we can assume that the answer to that was no. So I don't necessarily bestow any level of benevolence onto the family for freeing her, nor am I moved by the fact that George Washington wrote to her kindly. How wonderful of you to write a letter to someone. You're not getting any credit for that. I will acknowledge, however, psychologically and socially speaking, that change does take a little bit of time sometimes, and maybe it's possible that some of the sentiments did apply to the later changes that are still taking place in this country and are still not to where they should be, right? So I think it's okay. Like, look at Abraham Lincoln. Did I say Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln was a progressive for his day, but if he were alive today, he was right of Trump. But you have to do. So you do have to give credit to some of the baby steps that take place, because it takes those steps to get there. but I do completely agree with what you guys said about the cotton candy characterization of just telling the good parts of the story. And but that being said, I still find what she achieved to be astonishing and noteworthy, and I think was a good one to kick off Black History Month.
Beautiful.
Okay. Who's wrapping us up?
You.
Well, let me full screen myself here.
Uh-oh.
Let me get in here nice and
Get in there
nice and cozy.
Get in here nice and deep, like.
Nice and deep. Oh.
Is that the deepest your voice can go?
You know, Dutch, I don't really have to take criticism.
Why should he entertain your fetishes, Dutch?
This is Mikey Famine. Yeah.
Yeah, you just sound like some guy who's not allowed near playgrounds. This is sexy.
Well, now you've offended me. I have 4 kids.
This is a little bit of vocal fry on the bottom end. Ladies seem to love it right in their ear. So a little ASMR for you guys. Thank you for tuning to yet another rendition of the DOA podcast. And please, if you love independent media, go to our Patreon, patreon.com/ I think it's still Voice from the Underground, right?
No.
Oh, you switch it?
It's Dig on America now.
Yeah, patreon.com/ Dig on America. Throw us a couple bucks a month. Helps out. We gotta buy that fucking 3M fucking double-sided Velcro bullshit.
Yeah, we gotta buy myself a new humidor.
Oh yeah, we do have to. If you like the humidor and you want more of that, got to get a new one. So, thank you everyone for hanging out with us. So for me, Mikey Famine, and let me bring up Big Haas, and for Mr. Dutchman, there it is in its truest form. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next. Oh no!
Whoa.